Futures accelerating to the downside here this morning as we kick off a brand new week. Both the S&P and Nasdaq back in negative territory. Nasdaq leading right now. Just made a new low. We're trying to bounce a little bit here, but better part of full percent and then some for both at this point as we get into what could be a very important week heading towards a lot of jobs data coming up. We'll get JOLTS, we'll get the ADP print, we'll get non-farm payroll is going to be the big headline event Friday morning at 8:30. Make sure you're with us for that. The next stop along the interest rate trail. Speaking of, we have yields popping this morning. That's a look at the 30-year on a daily time frame, breaking above resistance. Highest level here for the 30-year since all the way back at the beginning of July, up better part of 5 basis points here. To start off the week, almost 4.993 currently for the 30-year, the 10-year, the 2-year even. Short end of the curve also seeing quite a boost. Possibly part of the reason we're getting such a sharp sell-off here for futures heading into, again, a lot of economic data coming up this week. We'll get more on the inflation side of things next week, but all eyes heading towards Friday on jobs this week.
It's going to be a big one, Brendo, and this one's going to be a little bit lagging. So the jobless claims from last week was more of that leading indicator, but lots to talk about today, guys, as Donald Trump possibly his tariffs in focus with a federal Court of Appeal ruling 7-4 that they were not in compliance with the statute. It may be only Congress that can enact them. As a result, the yields popping up here, Brendo, especially that 30-year on concerns that the U.S. will have to pay some of that tariff back. But there is a lot more to talk about. Amazon Prime not doing as good. G42, that big that's not Saudi, the Emirati company, they're looking to diversify away from NVIDIA into some others, and Apple also getting a note from JP Morgan.
Yeah, this is an interesting decision on the tariff front. It will go to the Supreme Court. It's just a matter of when. And, you know, everything I was reading this morning, everyone was suggesting that it probably comes out in his favor at the end of the day because he does have the majority at the Supreme Court. So maybe a huge nothing burger when all is said and done, but it could slow down the process even further, creating a little bit of uncertainty here this morning. One of the biggest movers back on Friday, if you remember, Alibaba coming back into the downside here, just seeing or hearing in my ear that we are getting a little bit of a bid coming back in, but this thing gapped up again this morning after just a monster rally heading into the weekend. Some of the Chinese names, NIO specifically, back to the upside here this morning. The e-commerce side of things, though, I mean, outside of Alibaba, we really haven't seen much action.
No, not really. Neo, you brought that to everybody's attention. A lot of these Chinese EVs reporting deliveries, and they're much better than expected. But one would be remiss if we didn't mention what happened on the weekend with President Xi hosting a number of leaders, Vladimir Putin included, as well as Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India. And that should be very interesting because that had Donald Trump truthing or tweeting or whatever we call it with his displeasure, Brendo, about the nature of the trade relations between India and the United States, obviously with them continuing to buy Russian oil and cozying up now, Brendo, to a former rival, China. They're regularizing some of the relationships.
Yeah.
China.
Those two, those two coming up with a new gas deal as well. I was reading this morning on a gas pipeline for Russia. Speaking of China, here's Tesla. Downside just made a new session low this morning. More bad data out of China as the other three, really. It wasn't even just XPeng that was taking some of Tesla's slice of the pie here. It was all three of them, NIO, Li, and XPeng, cutting into Tesla's China sales once again. So more negativity here for Tesla. Tech in general, though, guys, under pressure. Happy Tuesday. That feels like a Monday.
Yeah, I hope everyone had a good Labor Day weekend as we come back to red markets, unfortunately. But
we left with red markets.
It's exactly the point. Like, we left with red markets. The only thing it's not at the lows that I'm looking at right now, like Neil's not at the lows, despite the fact that they missed on the top and bottom and guided poorly. That's higher, and so we left on Friday to some strength in Chinese names, and we come back to some strength in at least that particular Chinese name. But no, it's, you know, whether it's the uncertainty, it's the September lull, who knows? Even Amazon here has a bad piece of news with regards to their Prime memberships. Didn't really get as many memberships during Prime Days sales as were expected, so they're going to be weighing, looking for them for a bit of a short trade here. But yeah, we saw a little bit of falling off the top. NVIDIA had their earnings, and sure, they were good, but maybe just not good enough. And we're starting to slide back in here. So yeah, a little weakness going into the market so far here today. Keep an eye on some of them yields as well. You got Bitcoin underneath 110. Well, technically held that 108 level, so it's not all bad. But the big thing, of course, is hey, kids are back to school.
Yes,
so, you know.
thank God.
Hopefully, hopefully everyone made it out and get the routines back to normal, I suppose. And summer's already finished.
Yeah, finally we're off to the race schooling. Yeah, look, you know what else is at all-time highs? So there's only a few things at all-time highs today. Gold. You know, gold is leaving Bitcoin in its shambles right now. We'll see if that continues or not, but right into here, this is what gold's doing, breaking out right now at all-time highs. I have 318.09 as GLD's all-time high, and that was based on Friday. Now you're up to 320.21 here. So GLD continues to work out as well. So thank you, Randy, for all of that. But yeah, gold, nice upside surprise today. So as the rates continue to be in question, the U.S. dollar is in question, and you know, Nasdaq is down 1.5%, S&P 500 down 1% as well here today. So it's all about gold, and I want to look at JP Morgan's. I think some of the banks are also holding out okay today. This is the other, so only down 0.5. So we did have some nice highs there in. Did I get that? I didn't get that 303, did I? No, almost. Look at that. Almost got 303 on JP Morgan. But anyways, the banks remain quite high here as well. But yeah, it's NVIDIA's day one more time around that 170. We'll see if they can hold here. Not great, you know, Saudi news, last week, weakness in the space. We get Broadcom this week, so that should be something maybe worth looking at. But we had Marvell down, obviously, on Friday. Everything's lower today again, like down 1.28. September's been a bad month. We'll talk about that with Michael Noss, hopefully, when he's coming through.
I guess not because
it's Tuesday. That's right. See, I thought it was Monday already. So
Mitch.
We miss on Michael, but I don't know who we have today.
Should be
Mitch. But yeah, closing of the monthly candles. Nasdaq was still up for the month of August. But Broadcom today, again, now down another 2.25 point. Like some of these names haven't really slipped up yet. So I do get nervous that if we do lose the bid here, there's going to be a slight little issue coming. But yeah, no, it's going to be good. It's Tuesday already. Relatively short week here this week, 4 days. I don't know. We got big events, man. We've got Apple coming next week is a week today. Then we have next week as well. September the 17th, actually, are rates. So that's coming up. We wait to hear a decision on this Lisa Cook to see what the Fed independence really truly is. And then the Fed rate was still 80. Was it 90 again?
I don't know if it got up that high.
Let me just check out how high it got there, because I think we're roughly the same.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to refresh this, right? And then it takes a second to. Let me have a look.
Yeah, it is 89.9.
Yeah, 89.
89.8, sorry.
We're still there.
Yeah, still there.
All right, so we're still going to get that cut, it looks like. If we don't, there's a problem. But remember, we have jobs numbers.
And we have a decision to make. Because the big Wall Street survivor pool that we go into, he's doing an A and a B. So I pull out all of our. He's doing two. There's two separate survivors. Okay. There's like an A pool and a B pool.
When you lose, you go into the B.
No, you can just choose to be in both. We're already in the A pool, like normal, but I think it's a little.
That may be confusing.
No, but it's like it's split up though. So it's like less.
Then you're not going to take certain teams, and there's less people.
Yeah, so like not as many. Like
I think we should go where there's the least amount of people.
Well, I haven't seen how many are in the B pool yet.
Yeah, because you want to have the best odds in a suicide pool.
We've been donating to the suicide,
like 20 years,
Wall Street suicide pool for over like 20 years. I think there was one time we came, I don't know, the last like
a couple thousand.
Yeah, we're in the last 10%, maybe, or something like that. But we'll see if we do a little bit better this year.
Yeah, we better.
We're not always the best when it comes to Survivor, but that's the thing. It's just fun.
Yeah, you guys can help us out in the chat. We'll figure out which plays. I mean, there has to be somebody. I mean, who's playing like Miami this weekend? No. Actually,
Miami.
No, Miami's okay this weekend. It's like New Orleans and some of these guys.
The Saints are the
Rattler and all those guys they're going to have a problem. Carolina still should be a problem as well. But we'll figure out the best one. Right now, coins at 300. Yeah, Bitcoin's getting hit right now down to 109 and change. But I don't think IBIT's actually down that much. I think we were at 109. Weren't we on Friday? Yeah, so IBIT's actually up today. So we're actually up from where we were on Friday. That's what I thought. I thought we touch 107 and change, maybe low 108s, but Nasdaq heading lower, man. This is going to be, I haven't written the sticky note yet, but there's going to be shorts all over this thing. I feel like we need to definitely be looking for the short end of the stick here today as the Nasdaq continues to bleed lower here with no good news. Apple got some sort of an upgrade, or not an upgrade, but a positive note from JP Morgan today. So they're holding out, but they're still going lower. And the number one stock that's been really bouncing this market higher, lifting the Nasdaq a little bit, has been Google, as that's been taking out all-time highs as well. And you're getting a little bit of a sale today, down 2% over here. So yeah, the blood just continues to sort of run here in the tech space. And then you get names like PepsiCo and some of these other names that are up today. And so we go back to this consumer discretionary names like that look to hold out higher, right? So we'll find out the story behind Pepsi as it is as well on our watch list. Yeah, man, it's all good. We'll go back over the desk. We've got Joe here today. We've got Adara, although I haven't seen Adara, but there she is. Hey, Adara's
She's lurking
there.
in the depths.
She normally is like always saying, hi, I didn't see her today. So I even asked Neil, I said, is Adara here? But she's here. So yeah, the whole crew is here. We're excited for a fake Drake Monday because it's Tuesday. Deep fake Drake. We talked about that. Now that's the problem with AI. Everything's getting to be so.
Oh my goodness.
All the voices now. And
there's too much fake stuff. Like
entertainment, I think, is going to change a lot in the future, man. I mean, it's just you can now make anything at any time. You always could with animation, but now I feel.
But now it's so easy to like even some of those just the silly TikTok and YouTube videos that you'll watch. It's like, oh, look at this impressive feed or whatever, and like 90% of it's now fake. Like some of it's easy to tell, but there's others you're like, yeah, give it a second look.
Well, that's what my eldest was saying. It's like now you'll type in something into Google and the image that comes up, like you really have no idea if it's real or fake, right? And there has to be some sort of a key that happens where it's like some sort of identification of real pictures. I don't know, but all right, let's go back over the desk. Lots of stories to cover today.
We were just talking about this one, KHC, this is a weekly chart, so that's the first thing. This is COVID lows. You got to go all the way back to 2020, beginning of 2020. We were at $20 essentially for Kraft Heinz on a weekly chart. This thing's done absolutely nothing in better part of 5.5 years here. Going to split into two companies. I don't get this at all. It all seems or sounds at least the same. So they're essentially taking ketchup and sauces, putting it over here, and then packaged foods, Kraft Dinner, mac and cheese, like things like that, and cold cuts, and putting it in company number two. So it kind of seems like the same thing.
I don't know, man. This company's been floundering since the move back in 2015. So it was a $46 billion merger back in 2015. Berkshire Hathaway and 3G Capital were some of the big backers there. So here's the deal. Company one, as Brendo mentioned, they're going to focus on shelf staple meals. That's going to be Heinz, Philadelphia, Kraft, mac and cheese. It's expected to be about $15.4 billion in sales. At least that's what they printed back in 24. And about 75% of that $15.4 billion, Brendo, comes from sauces, spreads, and seasonings. That's a lot of $15.4 billion.
It's a lot of ketchup.
Yeah. Company two is what they're calling a scaled portfolio of North American staples. Whatever you want to make of that, they're calling it, they're including in that, Oscar Mayer, Kraft Singles, Lunchables. That brought in about $10.4 billion last year. So we'll have to see. Their goal is to streamline operations, improve capital allocation, and unlock brand growth potential. But need to look at that chart, Brendo, because there's been very little growth.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like I just mentioned, it kind of feels like they're doing something just to do something or try something at this point, guys. Does this move the needle here for KHC?
It doesn't seem like it to me, but hey, you gotta try something. And ultimately, this is where it comes down to the big difference between having a growth company or just like a company that creates revenues and has a brand and it's still integrated in our lives. And I don't love Kraft Dinner anymore. I probably ate too much of it in university, but my daughter still loves it, and you still use the products. But ultimately, it's just been languishing. So maybe this will unlock something, but the market's not really caring at this particular point. The good news is it's really just been basing out over this 50 period. So, if you happen to think that this could do something, you've got pretty much a low risk for it to break under that 50, and then that would give you some kind of an out. But yeah, it just kind of, an example of a boring company that I don't know if is going to give you the growth that we want. So yeah, good for them for trying something. We've seen this actually work in the past, but I think with divisions that made more sense, like you can't even compare it to what GE did because that was like a big conglomerate. This isn't really the case here at all. So yeah, I'd say probably a nothing burger here.
You know what's been, if you want to get some value stocks, I really feel like, I mean, I am pumping my own tires a little bit here, but I like Berkshire. I think, you know, it's been a nice little run up. So those of us that have been crying lately, and it just started the last couple of days, but the Nasdaq, it was just at all-time highs like a week ago, and Berkshire's not. So I think that you can get some, you know, back sort of ended gains here from Berkshire. So I do feel like there is a great opportunity here to get going there, 5-10 and change up to the upside. So I kind of like that play as well. Okay, where are we going, Andre? Over to Joe? Okay, is that where we're going, Andre? Yes, okay, so let's go over to Joe for some upgrades and downgrades. Maybe Berkshire's on there.
No, it is not this morning, unfortunately, Sean. So, all right, guys, happy Tuesday, and welcome back to the start of the week. So, on the upgrade side, we have Energy Transfer with that price target raised to $23 by Scotiabank. And then we're also getting the nod by Goldman is Porch Group with the price target raised to $21. Now, Corning also getting that upgrade to $84. And then we have Zscaler by Morgan Stanley with a price target of $320. Now, on the downside, we have Elf Beauty getting that price target lower to $128. And then Aspen Holdings also getting the downgrade as well, too, guys. Then Lam Research by Morgan Stanley with a price target lower to $92. And then Synovus by UBS getting that price target lowered to $56, guys.
Yeah, how about Zscaler ahead of earnings with the upgrade? We've seen the cybersecurity names have gone kind of either way, with a lot of them more or less heading right to the downside after their earnings. But this was the best performing for most of the year, Zscaler. I don't know if it still is. You'd have to check the percentages, but it was the best performing for most of the year and has been having some trouble holding on. But this will be a good one volatility-wise after the bell today. It's got a huge double bottom here at 265, so that's something that could easily get tested. Upgrade doesn't really matter as much. I mean, aftermarket is where the juice is going to come in. You want to see what the guidance is going to be like on Zscaler. But if it doesn't hold 265, it's a pretty sizable gap underneath. So you know the level to queue off of. But it does give this opportunity that we have seen with some of the cybersecurity names sort of bouncing off support levels after they report. I think Zscaler is kind of primed to do something very similar. I could see it pulling a CrowdStrike or a Fortinet.
Like you guys know, as we've talked about it a couple times here, Elf Cosmetics has been a good stock to trade in your longer term accounts as it's near the highs, but it's now just hit that high and come back in. So that's a downgrade. I have to read the reason why, but kind of not surprising that you get into these areas right here and then all of a sudden the downgrade hits. So if you're going to downgrade this thing in around 125, 130, then I think it's a buy down here. So I'm going to actually wait to see if Elf can come into the 200 period moving average, a stock that you guys know I've been talking about it for a minute, and I like the space. I like this name here. A relatively newer, I mean, it's not too new, but you know, the cosmetic space, especially, I guess, kids going back to school, people going back to work right now, should be a good sector along with Elf, along with Ulta Beauty as well. So I do like Elf Cosmetics here to pick something up of again, a pretty strong name that showed itself. They did by Rode, I guess, Hailey Bieber's company, and look at Ulta Beauty as well off that miss there last week. They taken a hit down to the 50 period as moving average as well, down another 2% here. So just the space has been relatively hot, just getting some cool downs now. So I think, you know, Ulta in and around this 450 to 460, and then Elf as well coming into play there. So Snoop on a stoop, Elf on a shelf, all the same difference. Today, Elf taking a break, down 4%. See if we can pick that up a little cheaper. But yeah, I like that. I like that space. But you know, today I think there's nothing going to be safe. I feel like. I mean, we talked about the gold trade. That
Well, there could be some.
There could be some energy names maybe going to the upside.
Yeah, some of the staple names might do okay on a day like today. We'll see. But with the tariff uncertainty, even some of those are.
We'll see if any sector is green. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's going to be a green sector today.
We'll see, because that's the thing. Is when it's bonds and when there's tariff uncertainty, like it could bleed everywhere, and that's what it looks like so far. But you know, there's a couple of Chinese names that are kind of strong today.
Yeah,
so
yeah, the Chinese space.
It's always something to look at. Heading up back onto the desk, everybody. Lots to cover.
All right, it is Tuesday. It feels like Monday, but Mitch got up and is ready to get going here on a holiday Tuesday after a long weekend. Let's get his take on what to look for this week, because we do have a lot of important data points, as we mentioned, employment data, basically all throughout the week, starting tomorrow, Thursday morning, then Friday morning, the big one with non-farm payrolls. Andre, whenever you're ready. There he is. Happy Tuesday, Mitch Hoke. Hope you had a nice long weekend. I can't hear you, but that's fine.
Oh,
if everyone can.
Red.
There we go.
Green lights here. We're going to see what happens today, right? I mean, today's a big telling day, guys. Even I had a really good swing in FXI. China trade was looking to see if that could gap higher and continue the push, and it's pulling back right now. So, of course, I think we need to be watching right now to see different trades, right? We've all been in these nice, buy the dips, selling the rips. Now I think you definitely start to look for more of the selling of the rips and some pullbacks to come into play. One of the trades that I actually played on the upside, I'm looking to short now, which is the DraftKings trade. We talked about this, the gambling trade going into the NFL season. And, of course, this week we get the kickoff. And so what? I'm going to kick down that stock and look to see if we can crash it here. Of course, this was a nice long from the 43, right? Now I'm going to look to see this start to break the 47, start to come back down towards like the 50 EMA. It's a good looking trade. I've traded this before, where I traded before in August and then short it into September. Let's get after that trade today. That's a good one to look at today.
Yeah, when we talk about, things that have just been trending to the upside for so long.
And now I lost Brendan.
Oh, great. No, we can't hear each other. We'll just...
Hey, you know what, Brendan? You know how it is. Just put me live, baby. I'll run the show. Let's go. All right, guys. So another play that we can look at right now, value plays, right? So one of the value plays that I'll be watching is Johnson & Johnson. This is a good daily chart that has been breaking out. And I know that healthcare isn't the sexiest area to look at, but right now I'm looking at charts that I can find here. Value name, definitely Johnson & Johnson. Recently had a nice daily breakout, now pulling back, holding that 9 EMA, looking for a lift higher above that 9 EMA today. Another area, of course, is the short hype names, right? We've talked about it. I was looking at even shorting Palantir. Oh my God, no way. Well, you guys can thank Kramer for that. Guys, Kramer, to about 2 or 3 days prior to Palantir turning, said that Palantir would get to 200. Well, the Kramer effect, definitely jumping in there and destroying that stock. Now you're seeing different hype names start to fall, right? Like even HIMS has been falling, but I think this falls even further. Watch out for these names, especially the ones that have little to no fundamentals, like some of the quantum names that were hot last week. Watch for a wicked turnaround in some of these names. Of course, the ones that have bubble-like environments or valuations, those are the ones that could even fall further. Palantir, of course, could be back down to, maybe it's 50% retracement from that 180, right? And then that's going to give you an ability to come back in these names at some point. But for right now, you got to look for maybe a turnaround or waiting on the sideline to put your money to work.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. I got you.
All right.
Let's go.
There we go. It's one of those days.
Gremlins, the Monday gremlins, man. Who poured water on the desk? That's all I got to say.
I want to get your take on, let's zoom out here a little bit, because we come into a week with a whole bunch of economic data that's going to be important on not only the overall inflation story, but interest rates, I think, in general. A lot of the names that we've been talking about every time that you and I sit here and talk about individual names are small caps. So a lot of people pointing towards the fact that this huge move up in the Russell, paired now here this morning with this huge move up in yields, could meet some selling as well.
Yeah, I think we got to be looking at that. A good way of looking at that is watching interest rate sensitive areas, like let's say like the XBI is a really good indicator of that. You can see how it's been building up, trying to break 91, and it's gonna be an important stock to watch here, right? I think we got to watch to see this. Of course, the rate cutting cycle is really going to help these small caps. So even if we do get a pullback in the IWM, I still think this is one way to playing this, right? We got to be watching for what I call like the liquidity move, that washout, right? Whenever a trade gets really easy and everyone's looking for it, it can usually give you that first move, where it starts to break that resistance. But then a lot of the times it goes, okay, let's find out who's greedy. Let's go wash them out, liquidity move, go through the support. And then I want to see big volume come in on the second wave move, right? So I think this is still a play. We might get a week early September. And then what I'm looking to see is if the rate cut really starts to kick things off.
It's been a summer of just floating higher. The trend in the overall market, the trend in individual names, just a slow grind to the upside. It's really easy to fall into that mindset of everything just goes up always. It feels different. The past couple of days have felt a little bit different here, going back to Friday, and then here again this morning, more negativity. So how do you approach the market from that standpoint when there's a clear change in the way we have to actually look at things?
There's a couple of things you need to be thinking about, right? One of the things that I talk about is a lot of swing trading. So as a swing trader, you need to really think, am I at the point where I can just either take all positions off and go into more of a neutral stance for the rest of the year? Or is this the time to continue holding these high flyers, right? Let's say like a Palantir. If you didn't sell it, you probably lost, 20, 30% on the recent dip. And that kind of action can really destroy your gains that you were looking at. It can change things up. So when rotation is going against you, sometimes you need to just go back to neutral. Just cash is also a position, guys. I think that's probably going to be the best position here, is just reassessing the market, looking to see if the mega cap tech can kind of hold on here and then get another rally, because that's what's needed. And we can't forget, sometimes you can have the best looking setups, but if the overall market doesn't want to work with us and it starts to work against us, we need to understand, we need to rotate out of that, maybe looking at value plays for a little while. They're not the sexiest plays, but they can give you some return in the meantime while the market takes a little bit of a sidestep or a correction move.
It's a great point. And I think the bigger picture here is key. And, I just brought up J&J there. If you zoom out on any of these charts, they all look the same. Yeah. Just this continued move to the upside. But as you're saying, even if it is just a short-term pullback, there is an argument here to take advantage of some of that move to the downside.
Yeah, and there's ways that this market has been rotating, right? And that's what you're noticing too, that drift higher, right? So if for some reason we all of a sudden get a big tech day, we've seen a little bit of drift out of defensive. But the moment that switches, like today, tech down, well, defensive right back up, right? And so this rotation in this market is wicked. And it shows us that it's not just an everything down move. Now today, if we see the market wash out, we see growth wash out and value wash out, that can be turning signs, right? But for right now, I do see that value play available to you. You can look at like Coca-Cola, Pepsi up big today, so maybe that drives some of Coca-Cola. And I think that there's ways to play here. I think a lot of traders sometimes only look at growth tech names, and this is why you got to also know the entire market and be able to play or stay on the sideline for some time, because right now it's not just going to be easy sledding in early September.
All right, all that said, where are we going here? What are you looking at? Give me a couple of ideas at the open today.
Yeah, so right now I'm looking to flip on the rare earths play, right? You guys have heard me talk long countless times on that. Why not look for a flip too? You got to be able to be flip-flop action in day trading. It's completely different than position trading, right? So I think at this point, we could look at one of these plays for shorts, whether it be the nuclear plays, starting from GEV and VST and NRG. Those are energy pullbacks that could easily come in and just be a little bit further of a leak down, right? These are easy ones to maybe go after in a day trade style. Swing, of course, and long-term, I still like these names, so I'm looking for 50 EMA pullbacks to essentially short-term trade them down. Another way to play these is the rare earths play like USAR and MP. Even those names I think are going to start to break down a little bit and come back towards moving average. So a name that I shorted and played on the long side, UUUU. I think I've mentioned this trade now for 4 or 5 weeks. Upside, we got the upside again, but now I'm going to look for another leak. These are how these hype plays like to go. And a lot of these are what? They're more story-like plays than the fundamentals have massively changed. It's more about talk that these places are going to open nuclear reactors than them actually being built this moment. That's what the difference between hype and story and actual fundamentals driving the bottom line.
Great stuff as always. Mitch Hoke, what's new over at Trade the Pool?
Well, Trade the Pool, of course, we're going to continue pushing the levels. We've moved into the bot stage. Yes, bot trading is available, and you guys can be building your own, especially in a day of AI, guys. The one thing that I struggle with, and especially being a host looking at different stocks, is playing all the plays, right? We all miss plays sometimes, and it's like, what, an easy setup. We see them in the charts, and we're like, man, if only I had taken that one trade. Well, why not take all the trades and have a bot taking those trades for you and working the setups? We're going to be working on even showing you guys that live as we do things. So, hey, check it out, guys. Trade the Pool for you guys on the bot side, subjective, objective trading, whichever way you want to get after it. We'll see you in the pool.
Best of luck, Mr. Hoke. Good to see you as always.
Always. Get it going. Let's go. It's time to trade.
Yes, thank you, Mitch. Of course, it's always good to see you, and we look forward to seeing you in person next month. Right? That's what it's all about. We're gonna have the Trade the Pool team coming on through in October. Just by the way, like as Mitch was talking there was a bit of a volume spike, volume event. Here, let's show you the Nasdaq first before we look at the video.
There was no event.
It was just a big volume spike. I don't know what to even call it. There was no news headline that corresponded with it or anything, but you had the biggest volume candle of the morning breaking through the lows here in the Nasdaq, and you had a few stocks that put in like maybe some topping or bottoming tail candles is the right word. Like NVIDIA in here broke 169 and snapped right back. So you had this big volume spike. I'm not saying it was a capitulation bottom, but if you were watching anything, you certainly would have noticed that for sure. So I think anything that made some kind of a topping tail or bottoming tail in this particular case, this is all of a sudden a level to watch. Like NVIDIA, the 169 was support I think it was maybe like a week or so ago, and looks like it managed to hold it, at least temporarily. Tesla's another example of a stock that made a temporary bottom in there at 326. So yeah, a bit of a volume event there. And sometimes we get little bounces off those into the open, which I'm kind of expecting to see.
It's out there all shorts. We're going to talk about everything in just a couple minutes. IBIT dancing around here as well. UVXY. Look, I've been saying it for, it's been obvious, but, those of us that have been nervous about our portfolios, you had an opportunity to buy the VIX at very, very cheap levels. This is what the UVXY looks like, so you had a huge move down. You actually broke a big support level a long time ago, back in July, of $16, $17. Since then, we've been absolutely, and again, this is an ETF. It's going to look a lot different than the VIX itself, but up 8% right there, so a little bit of protection there as panic hitting the market, right? And we talked about, Mitch didn't talk about gold, but I think that this is, where we got to look. He talked about switching up the game plan. He came on here last week, was talking about things breaking out, SoFi's, the DraftKings of the world. And then it was only 5 days later, right? Now all of a sudden we're sort of looking the other way. Have that flexibility, as a trader. But it sucks because if you didn't get out last week, then this week you're a little stuck, right? I think DraftKings was an interesting one that Mitch had talked about because it's still up here. So although you're only down 2%, you still have, what's been a real nice run there in DKNG. So we talked about getting some out. We didn't do it. I think this is a good opportunity to now get something out of DraftKings because it looks like we did fade pretty hard there off that $50 mark. So down another 2% here is DraftKings today. So out of all the things there, Mitch gives a couple great ideas, but the rare earth play is an interesting one. I think that's dangerous because you have the government in that. So at any time, sort of a story can snap there. Yeah, but I like gold right now breaking out. Obviously, I like to maybe take a little bit of VIX there today. Check out the energy space. But yeah, Bitcoin's bouncing back up to 119, so maybe there's some love there. All right, lots of stuff to talk about. As we know, it's 9:03. Our watch list is loaded today, so make sure you do grab that. Sharif's going to go talk about the futures, and then we'll start a little bit of a rundown.
64.73. That's where we closed up Friday, guys, on the ES September contract. But take a look at the bottom of your screen. That indicator right there is the RSI, the Relative Strength Index. The last time we were below 20 on the 4-hour chart on the ES. Yes, back in early August. And look what we did. We gapped up the next day to back above 60. And here we are below 20 on the RSI and a good technical area on the price as well. We're touching that 200 EMA on the 4-hour. The last time we were there, you guessed it, the same area we were below 20 on the RSI. So I'm looking for a bounce back day above 6,400. We'll use the overnight low 63.87, 63.75 as the area that we found a lot of support at between August 14th to August 20th as our support level. If we start trending back up, we're looking at that 50-point area, 64.50, Brendo, as resistance.
All right, as always, if you haven't done so yet, make sure you jump down to the description of this video. Top link in the description will get you to that sign-up page. And then all you need is your email address to get the watch list absolutely free. Every single day comes right to your inbox, has everything on it you need to know. Every pre-market coming off 4 months in a row to the upside. We sat here last week and said September is historically a bit of a hit or miss, kind of negative, skews to the negative side of things. So to the downside we go. I mean, we can start with just a broad perspective here. We started the show talking a little bit about yields popping this morning, a little bit on why that has tech in general. But as Mitch was just saying, you know, some of the small caps may be even worth mentioning here, getting hit by higher yields today.
Absolutely, Brendo. Small caps, super interest rate sensitive as they have to go into the debt markets to raise money to operate their business. But here's what happened. Over the weekend or on Friday, a federal appeals court ruled in a 7-4 decision that most of Donald Trump's global tariffs were illegal, saying only Congress has the duty to impose these broad levies. The tariffs will remain in place for now, as Trump pledges to appeal to the Supreme Court, calling the rule partisan. The tariffs were expected to generate about $175 billion in 2025, which is a significant revenue stream for the U.S. government, but that has these treasuries, the 10-year, the 2-year, the 5-year, all up on concerns that the U.S. government will have to pay back some of the tariffs that they've already collected, and that probably will necessitate the U.S. Treasury to issue new treasuries and obviously worsening the debt situation. If upheld, though, the ruling could force Donald Trump, as I mentioned, to refund tariffs already collected, worsening the deficit. Analysts warn Brendo that this may require more treasury issuance, driving yields higher.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, I think it goes to the Supreme Court. You know, he gets a ruling in his favor, and this is a big nothing burger. So whether it's a blip, just starting off September or not, we'll see over the next coming days here. Maybe non-farm payrolls will also add to this. But here's just, you know, one of many we can look at. Palantir, as we were saying, to the downside here. Back to 150 almost here, guys. Just breaking back above 151 to start.
Yeah, it feels like the blip because at the end of the day, they paused it to allow this appeal. So, you know, really they get to stay in effect until it goes to the Supreme Court. And as Brennan said, decent chance that ends up a win. So this could just be a little bit of a hiccup. That being said, I mean, the charts are the charts, and this pullback it speaks for itself. Like Palantir in particular, when you get to Amazon, it has its own story as well. But, you know, Palantir is a stock that had been riding for the last week and a half, just riding the 50 period. It hasn't closed under the 50 period moving average on the daily once. Like, it's gone down here, it just hasn't closed underneath. That streak breaks today. I mean, okay, well, I mean, I think that streak likely breaks today is a better way to put it. It does feel a little bit heavy. It would have to get back above 155 half or so to close. So it's got to move $5 to the upside and close up here for Palantir to go. I think that kind of a reversal is kind of a key, even if it broke that 158th resistance. But I think if it gets into that 50 period, that's an area to look for that sell. That's that 155 area on Palantir. And then Amazon, excuse me, try to hold it. But Amazon in particular, we talked about Prime Day and not getting the memberships that they wanted. And this is another name, done very well since their earnings, bounced the 200 period moving average, didn't quite get all the way back into highs, gave you a bit of a bounce. But now it's trying to hold its 50 period moving average as well. I think there's a decent chance that this one can bounce off the open and come right back into that flat bottom, not a flat bottom break, but a support break at about 226 half to 227. So that one would be a fade. Just looking to fade some pops in here on Amazon. I don't know if Palantir gets high enough, but certainly that 50 period is still going to be in play. It feels like today is the day that it closes underneath that for the first time in a week and a half.
All right, so we, yeah, I think we have to go dead red today for sure. I mean, until something changes around. I mean, it might not be right off the jump, but I have it right here on the note. Today, AMD short, TQQ short, IBIT short, Tesla short. So we could just talk right now about the TQs here. I think this is obviously, you know, an exposure spot. What did we just got short on something? What just happened there? Oh, we just got short on IBIT. Okay, so we're into IBIT right now. We'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, nice little downside move. And as I said, maybe crypto is trying to bounce. So we'll figure that out. But right now, the Nasdaq's going lower, right? So I wrote down here 86 to 87 or so, 86.75. So anywhere into this area where we were already up to 89, it's a nice downside move. But you know, VWAP is right now at 86. I think that's where we sort of start the story here. I'm going to wait for 86.50 to see if we do get a little bit of a rally. I don't think we're going to rally up $1.50. So we're going to have to change some of our price targets here. But if you just sort of zoom back out for the TQQs, I almost wrote down this break right here. 84, it's like 84.50, 84.60 or so. That's a level that we made back on the 20th of August. And since then, we've sort of just been heading higher. And then we now, after Friday, got a nice move down. And now we're breaking back down into this area. So if we even go into a little bit of a larger time frame here and do like a 60-minute chart for the TQQs, you'll see that if we lose this, then the next area down, you've got like 82, 83. We had a huge trade on Friday on the Nasdaq. So I feel that we could possibly be getting right back into this August low again. And that's gonna take away all of August. So if you get back into $82, $83, then it's all that whole month wiped out here, basically in the first of the month for September, so first trading day. So we'll wait to see if we can get there. This could be a good bouncing spot for the market, but I don't really want to go green or think about going green long until we get into 82.50 or so. So this has to be an area of concern for me. So that's what we're going to look for. And then until then, I think we fade everything that happens. You know, there could be a bid in and around. This is why I didn't write it down. We could get a bid around 84.70. So we'll just test out that area. But for me right now, anything around here, this is 87. You know, that would to me be, we've made a move back. Now let's see if we want to re-get into this area. I say no. So we hit this to the downside. And that's just a play that I have on my mind right now is shorting the TQQs. So we'll start the day right now short IBIT. You could, well, I am short IBIT, but I wrote down on this, I don't know why. Again, Andre, hopefully that'll load up, but our positions aren't working again. But right in there, I had it written down on the note between 62 to 62.50. So we're just starting out right now on Bitcoin and crypto. So we'll wait to see if it wants to get going here. Nice little bounce up there for BTC. We don't have it on the board, but something to look at. We could get out of this thing. If it breaks 110, then we're out. So we're going to be watching this pretty carefully. 110 seems to me somewhere around 62.80 or so. So we need a little bit more work to get up there. But yeah, so far so good. I'm looking for a clear direction downside this morning.
NVIDIA here. We mentioned it to start the show off here very briefly. Some more China concerns coming through this morning with the H20 specifically, but 2 days in a row coming off a pretty negative week last week on top of, you know, the negative context for the overall market here this morning not helping.
No, that China news on the earnings report kind of threw a bit of a curveball there, Brendo. Some decent information today, but also possible competition for NVIDIA out in the Middle East. Abu Dhabi's backed. G42 companies seeking chip supply partnerships with AMD, Qualcomm, and Cerebras Systems to reduce their reliance on these NVIDIA chips. NVIDIA, as we know, dominates AR hardware, but heavy dependence exposes the firm to supply bottlenecks and pricing risks, something that they've already experienced. G42, as you'll recall, is building UAE U.S. artificial intelligence campus positioned as a global hub for advanced AI research and infrastructure. Negotiations are underway between G42 and Amazon Web Services, AWS, Microsoft, Meta, XAI, and Google, reportedly in the most advanced talks to join as a tenant out there in the Middle East. The campus aims to anchor G42 as a central player in the EI ecosystem, blending hardware access and cloud software solutions. Microsoft is deepening their ties, though, Brenda, with G42 with a $1.5 billion investment in G42 and a $1 billion developer fund, expanding the joint AI servers across the Middle East, Africa, and Central Asia. And they've also partnered up with OpenAI to roll out solutions in the Middle East. chip diversification here, very important for them. They're saying they don't want to be too reliant on NVIDIA.
Yeah, down better part of 3% here, guys, for NVIDIA to start.
The good news is this level here at 169 where it's at is actually, that was where it bounced on the 20th. So you have, in theory, like a support coming in on NVIDIA. That's why I like the short, but this isn't necessarily the one for me because it's right on a support line. So if you're looking for a continuation, it almost has to break down underneath this low at 168.5 after their earnings. That being said, if you're looking over at the space, rising tide lifting all ships, and the reverse, I think, sometimes being true. Eyeballs on SMCI, this flat bottom broke over the weekend. I mean, gapped underneath 41.5. So for myself, like I want to play the short in this. As long as it's under 41.5, continuation short. This has been stair-stepping down since the report. Just not really seeing a heck of a lot of strength. So, I mean, the first place I usually look is going to be that pre-market high. And from there, even if it breaks it, the 41.5. So I just feel like NVIDIA is right at that 169 spot, which has me looking at other names for potential fades, specifically SMCI.
Yeah, I'm going back to the well. I mean, AMD was such a monster stock. What happened to my chart over here? Was such a monster stock last week. Did I lose it? Yes, I did. I'll have to open it up again. Was such a monster stock last week. So I think we are smart to continue the fade here with advanced micro devices. I've written down there on the note 160. You want to talk about a key level? Well, we just broke through this 160 area. So, I mean, as Neil said, sort of NVIDIA hovering around that 169. You've got now advanced micro devices giving it all back. And then again, if we zoom, of course it's giving it back. I mean, the whole market's going to be coming back in. We had that one joke where it was like, what's going to, the equal of the prices there between AMD and NVIDIA. Of course, AMD is super expensive when you compare it to NVIDIA, but here's a 60-minute chart. And this is, again, like how key are we? I mean, we've just broken right through this 160 here, 160 here, and looking to get a lot lower, honestly. So yeah, that little bottom tick right here that we had back on July the 6th. So you're all the way back. August the 6th. It's same thing as the Nasdaq, where we've given back all of August right now. What a great run AMD had. We were all, cheering this on. People were getting long, and now you're kind of like, hey. And it's me too. I mean, we talked about Marvell and their weakness, but AMD right into that spot. Now I feel like we got to look here, which is a lot lower. That's that 150 mark. So feels like we're getting into those levels. If there's going to be a bounce spot today for advanced micro devices, I think it can go down another 4%, bringing it into this 150 or so area, down 4%. So if we can get into that level, then I think that's where you finally start to say, hey, maybe it's time to look at a buy, because that almost erases all of summer. That goes back to mid-July right there, where we get this 150 marker for advanced micro devices. So it's like what goes up, eventually doesn't need to come down, but apparently in this situation it does. So there goes advanced micro devices. We had a huge short up here at 169 last week. We hit it a couple times, which is what this was all about. So there it is now. I wish it was going the other way and we could use 169 as a base, but instead this looks like a lot of resistance up here, a lot of inventory being sold down. And yeah, it looks like you're not getting any better prices today for AMD or the chip space in general. So NVIDIA down 3%. Neil highlighted some of that. To me, I just think I'm going to stick with the guns, and that's advanced micro, and we've been really hitting it. So I'm happy with that trade. And we're going to keep on that front, advanced micro devices. Pepsi over here. I like that kind of play on word. Is it a cola? Is it a pop? Is it a soda? What is it? But right now, Pepsi pops up 3%.
Yeah, it's not all bad here this morning. Here's Pepsi just about to take up the highs, actually up more than 1% on a day when the market's getting hit pretty hard here. Elliott into Pepsi now to the tune of $4 billion has this thing popping this morning.
A big stake to take, Brendo, making it one of the activist investors' largest equity bets ever by Elliott. The stake places Elliott among PepsiCo's top 5 active shareholders, excluding, of course, index funds who have bigger positions. Pepsi's about 4% on the news, give or take, signaling investor optimism about the potential changes. The company's faced weakness to its core soda business, losing share to rivals in recent quarters. Its food division, which is historically, guys, a growth driver, is now under pressure, adding to investor concerns. Shares have lagged broader consumer staples peers, leaving room for activist pressure to push for restructuring or strategic pivots. But what are Elliott's demands here? What are they looking to do with this $4 billion position? So specific demands are not yet clear. Elliott, though, is known for driving operational overhauls as well as cost cuts, divestitures, and board changes with putting their own people on there. Given the size of the stake, Brendo, Elliott likely aims to influence Pepsi's long-term strategy and capital allocation. Investors could speculate here on the potential spin-offs, for example, beverages versus snacks, as well as margin improvements and shareholder return programs. We'll see if they buy back any shares or give any dividends.
Yeah, from a technical standpoint, there's still a little bit of room here, guys, up to 160, I guess, if you zoom out for Pepsi.
Look, Pepsi's breaking out on the daily chart. Like, we talk about rotation, and it seems like this rotation is happening. So whether it's the activist, investor, whatever you want to give the catalyst in here today, like you're above the 50, you're above the 200, you've been in an upward trend since July, since middle of July. And when you throw up the weekly on Pepsi, it's, knock on wood with this one, but the 50 period on the weekly, you have a very decent chance to get another close above. So you have a bit of a reversal candle on the weekly that doesn't look as good. So this would be, not ideal to try to get into like a swing long if you weren't in it already, because you want to see this hold the 50 period on the weekly. And it's not a day trading stock, so not something I'll be looking at for a day trade. But it's also the kind of thing you don't want to ignore. If we just trend down all day and the rotation is true, this could provide you with a little bit of a soft glide if it can hold the volume weighted average price. So this might be something worth coming back to after the opening range to have a look at. But I wouldn't want to be swinging into it now with that weekly candle it put in last week. I think it's already come off the bottom. I wouldn't want to be chasing it up here necessarily for a swing trade.
I was just going to say, like, Elliott there with one of their largest equity positions ever. I mean, they must be seeing something. It's obviously a nice hold there of the 200 period moving average. Plus, to get away from some tech names makes some sense here as well. So, yeah, this to me looks pretty healthy. I think you can go long on this, even though it's up 5%. I would say wait for a little bit of a pullback because of what the day's been doing. But if you like the space, it's been really beat up. There was some GLP-1 worries there about, again, I think Pepsi big into Frito-Lay, I think is Doritos, things like that, a big space for them. So as people get a little worried, obviously, that some of these cravings maybe are the other way now and not looking for sweet. But right into here, nice move. I think you can get back into this 170. They're not just taking a position for 5%, so we'll wait to see how high this thing can go up. But I like Pepsi. That's what I was saying about Coke as well with Berkshire Hathaway, is that there's some value plays out here, and Coke, again, one of those names, and it's going to look very similar. They're catching a little bit today, and I think if you like Pepsi, you might, I don't know, I got to figure out why Coke is only up 0.65 there, but again, really holding this 200 period moving average. So not as exciting to the top side there, because you only have about $5 and then you're back to highs again. While Pepsi, you get, I guess it's very similar as a percentage wise. So I think I like both of these names now, solidifying it with people smarter than me taking big stakes in this space. So why not? Let's go for it with Coke and with Pepsi. I think it's worth taking a shot, especially if you're swing trading.
We started off this morning talking a little bit about Tesla and Chinese EVs. I was just double checking here. NIO was up 2% or 2+% at one point. It's now down 3%, about to make a session low. Deliveries coming in this morning from a few of these anyways, pointing towards more negativity at the end of the day for Tesla.
Yeah, Brendo, these China numbers, some silver linings. We'll get to it. Year-over-year numbers don't look good. Let's start with those. Their China EV sales fell 4% year-over-year in August, Randy. Not as bad as a steeper 8.4% drop in July, despite being its second largest market after the U.S. Sales in China have been volatile through all of 2025. But let's talk about that silver lining right there. Deliveries of the Model 3 and Model Y from Shanghai, including exports, we know they send them to Europe, surged, Brendo, 22.6% month over month to about almost 84,000 units. The stronger export performance to Europe and other regions helped soften China's domestic weakness for Teslas. Still, Tesla's Europe sales plunged, we know that, down 40.2% year over year in July, trailing BYD, despite overall EV growth in the region. But they are doing moves here, so they're not just sitting on their laurels or trying to get the needle moving. And how are they doing that? They cut the price of the Model 3 rear-wheel drive by about 3.7% on Monday, less than a month after the launch, to kind of boost demand. And they also began deliveries of the 6-seater, Randy, Model YL, priced at 339,000 yuan, slightly above that Xiaomi SUV. It's got a third row. They like that stuff in China, Brendo.
Right. Randy's saying it's terrible. Here's another data point that's a little bit concerning. Since its launch in July in India, a staggering 600 orders have come through.
Jeez Louise.
600.
What's the tariffs, though, on those? It's got to be like 100.
Part of the problem, definitely. Thoughts on Tesla, guys?
Yeah, 600, that doesn't seem like that healthy of a number. But ultimately, we've been getting bad numbers for a while from Tesla, so this isn't necessarily new. Just with only about 5 minutes to go, look, 332 to 334, that's the zone I'm looking for. Go all the way back to, it was 20th here, where it essentially failed off of the same area, all the way down to 315. So I think that's the range we're playing with today. If it gets into that 32, 34, that's the top end of the range for a fade trade. And there's a lot of room for it to fill in at least a decent part of this gap here on Tesla. So yeah, not looking good for Tesla with the Chinese numbers, but also been a pop and fade for 2 days in a row now, I should say. Actually, no, it is 3 days in a row, because it did at the open a little bit of a pop on the 27th as well.
Okay, I have written down here on today's note that we are going to go short on Tesla, so that's what we're doing. 330 short right now. China, competition's too much right there in China. And we talked about the weaker, although Sharif showed us that the numbers were a little higher there. Europe sales bad. Chinese cars, apparently, Teslas aren't the highest. They're not the highest quality car or anything like that. So you got to wait to see if that's going to eventually play. But 330, where the 200 period moving average is on a 1 minute chart, looks pretty good to me. And then here's 330 right into here as well. So it goes all the way back again to like mid-August, where we were bouncing around here. Once we failed it, we did make that move back into 3 teens. So I think that's potentially incoming again. So this line right into here is 330 all the way down. So we go back, we cover there, and now it looks like we want to go a little lower. So until we break above, I was going to say basically 330, like 330 to 331. We don't want to get stuck with this going back to the upside here if the market does start to go. So we'll give it about 50 cents of a break through 330, and then we're gone out of that name. We could do like one of those, maybe $1, like a little false break action there at 330. So for right now on Tesla, I'm sitting short waiting for 329.50s. So if 329.50 comes in, we'll start our bidding, our offering there, get short, and then ride that up to 331 break. So that's $1.50. Yeah, $1.50 or so worth of risk there for Tesla. So well in the pocket on that one as well. All right, Constellation Brands there with only 3 minutes left. Let's go find out the story there.
Yeah, trying to bounce right now, guys, back to 149 here, trying to test 150 even, but volume not impressive to say the least, coming off earnings that obviously disappointed here for STZ.
It was the guide, Brendo. Specifically, they cut their full year fiscal outlook for revenue, and they reported weakness among their core Hispanic demographics. So this company, obviously based in Rochester, New York, they import Modelo, Corona beers, said Tuesday that a challenging macroeconomic backdrop, Brendo, is leading to shoppers to cut back on high-end beer as they make fewer trips and tighten their spending. Not a good look for the company.
Remember, coming up this morning, we didn't touch on it earlier, but 9:45, 10 o'clock data points this morning could be market moving, guys.
Could be. I was just turning to Sean, like Constellation Brands needs another Fast and Furious movie because they seem to always be rocking Corona.
I didn't know that. Right.
I don't know. To be honest, I haven't watched half of them, so it could be not true of the second half of movies for Fast and Furious that they made. They're all ridiculous. Maybe not all. Look, Constellation, if it would be a flat bottom break like $10 ago. So if you're looking for a continuation play, which oftentimes I don't mind, it's already making a bit of a bounce. So I doubt this is a name that gets into some prior, support turning into resistance. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm staying away. It's smoked, it is trend down, but this could be one of those like dead cat bounce type of situations, at least early on, and not necessarily the place that I would want to fade. There were some small imbalances. NEO, half a million shares to the sell side. I thought I saw Okay. Okay, I thought I saw Marvell for a buy, but I guess it's not there anymore. But yeah, NEO to the sell side for 400,000. Marvell was a small buy, no longer anymore, so it must have paired off already. Remember, Marvell after their earnings, they should still be SSR today. So it's still SSR today because it was down over 10% on Friday. SMCI looking to short a bit of a pop in here. Tesla we already talked about as well. Amazon we went over, has some bad news. And for anybody that for whatever reason owns some Lucid shares, don't freak out. Remember the split effective today. So Lucid is at 20.
You should be freaking out because that thing is going to go from 20 back down to $2.
Well, okay, well this for different reasons.
Yeah,
for different
you should be freaking out because for no reason they did.
It's already down 5%, just so you know.
Okay. Yeah, so right now with only 40 seconds left, make sure you do hit the like button right there. We have over 8,500 watching, just 600 likes. So hit the like button. Let's get going on that ratio. Needs to be a little bit higher there. And yeah, the bell today, we believe we brought to you by VinFast. We're going to get to that in just 30 seconds.
No, Orogenics.
Oh, Orogenics today. Okay, what's up, Orogenics? Make sure you scan that QR code with only 20 seconds left right now. We did get a fill there on IBIT. We got 62s and then we got 62.20s. So our average price now, 62.10. So the only position that I have right now is on IBIT and Bitcoin. But here it is with only 6 seconds left. Please make sure you do scan that. Thank you to Orogenics for sponsoring our opening bell. 2 and 1. And there we go. Well timed right there on the open. So we're going to wait to see now what winds up happening. Market heading lower right off the jump. We are short. Only position I have right now is short IBIT, which is BTC. We're going to cover a little bit underneath 62, and then we'll see where it goes from there. But right now, 5 cents in the money on this posted short. Tesla's trying to make a move upside as well right now. Just went to 329-ish, or sorry, 328.50, which was VWAP, almost 329 right there. A nice pullback in, and here it comes right now. Hit the sirens. The short starting to print a little bit. We'll see if we can get a little bit lower right now, but here comes the Nasdaq down just a bit. AMD starting to go finally downside.
Yeah, I mean, Tesla tried to go higher. It barely even went anywhere. Now heading back into the downside. NVIDIA to the downside. SMCI, initial move again to the downside. NEO, by the way, NEO reported earnings. It's already breaking down underneath some support here at $6.25. So flat bottom break here on NEO. Headed held, great, but they missed top, missed bottom, guided lower, NEO. So down 3% on that. I said if it holds under 625, I got to be into the short on this bad boy. So we're going to get into some NEO short. Headed held. We didn't mind going long, but not the way this one's already headed.
So our charts aren't going to be good enough for Lucid, but Lucid right now down 12% and
already
tanking. It's absolutely tanking.
It doesn't even wait.
There it goes, man. I was just like, when Neil mentioned I should have got short, but now you're SSR, and there she goes. Nice downside play. And look at this, man. Here we go again. Bang, 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 as we're right here right now. And there it goes, man. A nice short there. 30 cents here for IBIT. So let's see where this one starts to go. We just took some out there. Told you we were waiting sub 62, so we get 61.95. It looks like AMD, though, making the move higher right now against this market. So that's a little strange. Lucid now continuously going lower, so we'll have to wait to see if there's a bouncing spot there at all. But it's advanced micro devices world right now. Flat on the day. Maybe we should check in on NVIDIA. I know you got NIO there. $6.
NVIDIA's holding the low temporarily at that 169. Yeah, like where that bottom was in that volume event, it looks like we just wicked the bottom and are heading a little bit higher. So at least for now, things are calming down a bit here on NVIDIA. NEO's headed towards $6. So like I said, they missed on the top, they missed on the bottom, they guided lower. It was higher in the pre-market, but once it lost that flat bottom, we're able to get 621s. If it bounces off $6, it would not surprise me. This has been support, well, support last week. So maybe want to get some more out in front of that $6 level. But the market trying to hold up here pretty decently. And I think the chips at least are keeping it afloat.
Yeah, the market's trying to bounce up here, so I'm fine with this. I mean, we're trying to get short. I don't want to change what we're thinking right now. I don't think that this has really changed my opinion at all, but there goes AMD right now. I'm trying to get short, but I'm trying to be patient as well. We said 160, so let's wait about another buck or so to see if AMD really does get going there to the upside. The market's going, so Palantir's going, a nice bounce off 150, that's for sure. That came pretty clean down into 150.30. Now it's up to 152. As Palantir goes upside, the market's coming back in. So what exactly is fading out here. Apple, I'm just trying to look over my watch list here just to see if anything's coming through. We do have here on the trade rate a couple names. So it looks like Apple, okay, so Apple down 1.6, that might be part of it. There's Lucid down 9.7%. CoreWeave, wow, CoreWeave getting spanky right now. That's down 8%, obviously on some global demand worries there. So that's going to go to the downside right there. Yeah, down 8. Yeah, not good there for CoreWeave. Alibaba down 1% as well. That's starting to go back to reality a bit, but I think that's a buy. Amazon down 2% as we continue to watch out for some of these stocks. But there's CoreWeave right now doing a couple dances there. We should have gone short AMD. AMD went right up into that 185.50. It looks like that might be a short zone. So I don't know if we're taking the short bus or whatever, but that was a joke last week with Sharif. But right into there, NQs right now trying to bounce a little bit higher.
Are you allowed to say that? Isn't that? I don't know.
I don't know. It was last week. People were talking about that, and it was a fun little segment there. 85.50 for the TQs. Waiting to see if that's coming through there. 85.50. Good little short area maybe for the TQs. But for right now, AMD 158.50. Just looking to get into a few things and not really seeing anything right this second.
No, nothing's going absolutely crazy. Try to reload in Neo up here at that 25, but it just took it out. So it did bounce off $6 after all. We'll let the opening range settle because this had actually pulled back 10% if you go from the highs. So this is it's a big volume event at the open always. I want this to calm down. So early look gave you down into 6, call it like 606, but I want it to close a couple of candles underneath that 625. But SMCI, that managed to hold under VWAP, at least for now. So I'm playing off of this 40 and a third level in here. It's just a consolidation short, if anything else, here in SMCI. This is one that I just preferred it to NVIDIA, just based on the price action in terms of looking for some weakness in the chip. But you're starting to get a little bit strong here. Like the market is definitely picking up to the upside. And the Nasdaq's flat-ish since the open, but the candle does look like a bottoming tail candle forming, at least on this 15-minute, right? Like you're having trouble holding underneath 23.1 every single time. It just keeps on bouncing higher. So the first look for the short, good on Neo, but the second one coming in here on SMCI, if we break 40.30, I'm jumping out and waiting for a stronger push up there. Nothing else is set up, and Tesla's nowhere near 3. Well, it's actually.
So, we actually got a position on Tesla right.
Okay, I'm waiting at 332, but yeah, it's getting there. It's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there. So I don't know. We took a quick one there. We wrote down 330 and then 331 as our stop. So as Neil had mentioned there, if Tesla does get going to the ups, well, there it is. Yes, sir. Well, there's 70 cents in the money, so that was a good idea so far. Let's see if it comes. Okay, here we go. Let's see how low we can go now on Tesla. There it is. Yes, sir. So it's your first dollar club. So there it is right there. Nice little dollar club winner there on Tesla. And again, as it was written, man, we wrote this down on the note today that we wanted this Tesla right there, 330 short. So we're short at 329.81. So there it is. Nice little dollar club member there for Tesla. So yeah, man, really happy with the way this one's pacing out so far. Is there more downside to come? We'll see, but right there we'll take some more out at 329. Our stop is going to be $1, so we might as well look to take $1. Crypto starting to go back. Oh, there goes crypto through 110. So I thought our 110 was going to be around 62.80. So that's where I'm waiting for, and that's kind of what I charted out there. So we're going to wait to see what happens now with crypto breaking higher. So we'll nail this Tesla trade. So, so far. Let's go over to Darren. I'll have to get my chart back.
Now here on TSM. This is Taiwan Semiconductor. It looks like about 39 minutes ago, Bloomberg reported that the U.S. had pulled the company's waiver for China chip shipments. Now TSM actually coming out themselves, saying that they have received notification from the U.S. that their validated end user authorization for their Nanjing plant will be revoked as of December 31st, 2025. So looks like some authorization at risk here for TSM. Back to you.
Like the futures are going, but like what's so strong right now? Apple's.
I don't know, man. I mean,
doesn't look all that
is going. They're all trying
Amazon,
to go.
What's Amazon doing? All right, actually, Amazon's trying to go, but I'm waiting for 227 on Amazon. Yeah, it does look like it's. I mean, Tesla just got up to 3. Okay, so Tesla's trying to go as well a little bit, and then Meta, Meta, which hasn't been the strongest in the world, like that's now less than 1% trying to fill in a little bit of the gap. So I mean, that's still an SMCI that's holding underneath whoops,
Oh,
SMCI,
Tesla.
not Nasdaq, is holding underneath VWAP. So this isn't necessarily running, but it's about to try to break this 40-30 level. And I don't want to give it too much further than that. This market is trying to get to the upside, but it's not like we're not ripping faces off to the upside yet. But it's early. It's only 9:38. Very, very early still. And this is jumping back over to NIO. This is one. It's at VWAP now. I'll wait for it to maybe show some weakness off of this before I try getting back into the short. Early short, like right off the bat, was good, but it's been all green ever since. So got to wait for the other side of the V.
Yeah, so right now we're into the shorts, and we've been doing fine. Tesla was able to come back in. We did get our 330s, 50s there, and then a couple outs there at 329. So yeah, it's just slippery right now because we're about to get stopped out of some of the shorts because they're just not the right angle right now today, as I guess that taco trade is healthy right now.
Is it really
anything
a taco
that comes,
trade, though?
Well, I think it was tariff talk today
about
you know, the possibility there of them being revoked or turned around there. So yeah, I think it's a taco trade today. Okay, but we're in another trade right now, AMD. So we've got 3 trades on right now. I don't know where these are going to wind up for us. So with the market keep on pushing higher, we do get a little it's a little nerve-wracking to say the least right here for your boy, but we're green today and it's all good. So now we're 40 cents, 50 cents now in the money on advanced micro devices, so we'll continue to take that. And we just got 2 outs right there, sub 159 right now, so that's a good one. More reloads obviously here on Tesla as that short printed. And hey, you guys are all like, where's this guy coming up with these ideas? Or maybe you're not, and I'm just talking to myself, but there's the AMD 160 short, so we have that. There's the IBIT short, so we have that 6250 right there, and the Tesla 530. So we have everything that we want right now. We did not short the Nasdaq though, which might be one of the best things to short because it's at key levels. But here goes Tesla looking to run us out of town right now. A break of 331, and we will get out of Tesla. But it'll be okay. It'll be red if we get stopped out up there, but it's barely. We were able to take out profit when profit was there. So yeah, trying to scalp out a little bit here, and it's not working out the greatest there for Tesla, but it's been working out for advanced micro. So we'll wait to see if AMD can come back up into that 160 area and get us a little more short. So Tesla's the one right now. There goes Tesla. So Tesla just ran the top. So we'll flush ourselves down the toilet a little bit with that trade. But it's not that bad. It was worth a try, in my opinion. I didn't expect the Nasdaq to be doing this, so I'm okay with that trade. But it's AMD right now that we're just getting a little bit more involved with here. So we have to watch out for this 160 coming into play now. As Neil mentioned, the market seems to be pretty hot right now. Let's get some more out here.
But it's not
AMD.
Taking the top off.
No, it's not yet. That's why I was wondering about the Nasdaq short.
Yet. When I say yet, like you have to remember, as I said, on the 15-minute, like we are headed higher, no question. That's we're not taking the top off yet. You're underneath the volume-weighted average price. Like a lot of it feels strong, but it's still that opening candle. That being said, I'm going to respect it. If we break, we just held VWAP on SMCI. If we break 40-30, then I'm jumping out. I was able to get a fill down at the 40 level, so was able to get some profit, but we're just sliding back higher to the upside as we speak. And I look over, I see what's going on with NVIDIA.
Oh boy.
NVIDIA's breaking out the top.
Oops.
So I'm not, my stop is in. I'm a short 40-10. If it breaks 40-30, I jump out on SMCI and look for the next opportunity in it. I'm not completely convinced we're going all the way the other way here. And this stock shouldn't care about what happens to the market. NEO just lost VWAP, so this is a confirmation I was looking for in this name. At least with NEO, if the market continues to climb, they read the report, and it's a Chinese stock, it might not care as much. So it failed VWAP. This is my chance to get back in and give it to that 60-40 level as we wait for things to chill a little bit. As the market bouncing nicely here. It seemed like a nothing burger, the tariff news. That being said, we left on Friday with a lot of weakness. And remember, sometimes they like to wash out that open. And if they do, you want to make sure if it sets up to get you back in, you got to jump back in. So NEO, I'm trying to get it off the volume-weighted average price. This looks like it's still weak relative to the overall market. Let's go to Adara.
Keep an eye on LAWR here, very strong this morning. I could not find any news or information on this company. It's called Robot Consulting. Looks like it's based in Japan, according to a quick Google search. So keep an eye on this LAWR. Also, we're less than 2 minutes away from the S&P manufacturing PMI. I'll give you guys those numbers again, less than 2 minutes. Back to you.
Man, so we thanks Dara for all of that. We got stopped out at 160.30 break there, and then it didn't continue to go. So I did punch back in there for AMD short. So red, but not really there as we get a little bit of a better advantage here going short. Remember, we don't want to be short for a very long time on AMD or really on anything here, as the market's kind of doing the opposite of what I had thought there. That's 162.30, the bottom there from Friday. So we could have a big move higher. So we don't want to be sitting in AMD and just, get rolled over, steamrolled here a little bit. So just looking at where we would want to get out. I'm thinking like maybe that next even dollar level of 161, and then that would be that, and then we'll just wrap it from there, because right now the market's starting to head higher, so we don't need to be part of that. I was going to short it, but now with these numbers coming out, again, might not be overly worth it. Remember, we do have, as we just mentioned,
even Lucid's up.
Yeah. Oh, Lucid's going back up. Okay. So S&P right now, PMI for August expected to come out at 9:45. So in 30 seconds, the PMI could be a big one, 53.3. So we'll figure that out. Then ISM at 10. So we're going to wait. But AMD bouncing around, IBIT bouncing around. Numbers right now in 25 seconds. So we'll talk about Lucid in a minute. Lucid's down 4%. Let's go to Adara quickly, and then we'll bring it back. Numbers imminent.
Yeah, the more closely watched number is going to be the ISM manufacturing PMI coming through at 10, 9:45 here. We have the S&P manufacturing PMI forecast, 53.3, previous 53.3. So we're basically expecting this to be in line, I guess, with the previous print, 1 second away. And we have just gotten this number in, just waiting for it to populate 53. So it looks like it is here a little bit lower than that forecast of 53.3. Again, 53 was the print, 53.3 was the forecast. Let's take a look at CPRI as well. This is Capri Holdings. Not a ton of volume here, but on watch. Women's Wear Daily reporting that Sydney Sweeney is returning as the face of Jimmy Choo's fall 2025 campaign. So I guess some Sydney Sweeney related announcement could potentially benefit CPRI here, though again, not a ton of volume on the stock this morning. Back to you.
That was a very healthy I don't know who was clapping very loud over that.
You don't know who it was? Sharif.
I'm not sure. Was that who it was? I couldn't tell.
Yes.
I couldn't tell. Someone very, very excited about it. It's interesting. We have to pay for locates on Lucid here today after the reverse split, which makes sense. It's a 1 to 10, so it's still down on the day. Oh, yeah. Now I have to wait for it to load up. There we go. It's still down 3% here on Lucid. I jump back into NIO as the market goes higher. Both these names still feel like Lucid's down 3% because it was a $2 stock, so obviously underneath 20 bucks and it'll be red. I just want to see what happens at 20. If it fails 20, I think I'd want to jump in on a bit of a fail break. But NIO is seemingly not caring what the market is doing, at least for now. So I'm going to get bids out in front of the low of the day and that 20 area and see if we can't just short over VWAP over and over again. But the market is continuing to blast up here. Tesla has now, it's filled in most of the gap. We closed at 334. So 32 to 34 was the target zone I liked for a curl. Well, we're trending into it. That sets it up for a bit of a trend break. So that little nothing burger that we're calling it on this tariff news is certainly looking like that's the case. The market buying it right back up, at least for now. We've seen this story before. Specifically, Tesla for 2 days in a row, 3 days technically, has moved up before fading back in. So I don't want to get too far out of the pocket here. If you're not breaking green, then I want to give this one a chance to fade at the level. So 332 to 334 is what I'm looking for a trend break, particularly on Tesla, and we'll see if NIO can hold up. I did want to mention the strongest stock in the market on Friday was Alibaba for a lot of people, depending on what you're looking at. Alibaba doing not much of anything. It's flat on the session, trying to go higher. I think that gives me a little bit more cover for NIO short, given that Baba's not doing much.
Yeah, we also have a new position here with the TQQs, so we're trying to see if this can fade out a little bit. We were waiting for some of these pops. Unfortunately, we got a little excited too early on some of the plays, and got some stopped out there on IBIT and on Tesla, but we're just trying to wait to see here with Advanced Micro Devices. We said 161 might be the top for ourselves, and it looks like that's coming in one more time right now. So here comes, I mean, again, if it breaks the top, then we do not need to be anywhere near this, and it looks like it's trying to do it one more time right there. So, oh no, good outs a little bit, and we will watch out for Beta Pro by Global X right now. So if you are into this kind of trade, there goes AMD back up to the upside. So they're now offering 3 times bull and 3 times bear exposure to the S&P TSX 60, the semis, and the U.S. Treasuries. Even better, fee basis point reduction, 65 basis points until December 31st on the management fee. So they also employ currency hedging to neutralize the US dollar and provide exposure to indices rather than the currency. So the hedging is already in there. Make sure you check out betapro.ca/3x daily to learn more. It might have been a /. Okay, so right into here, there goes Advanced Micro Devices. So completely wrong. We'll slap some fails and some flushing down the toilets here as the market just continues to go higher.
Palantir is blasting.
Yeah, good.
That's a strong one. I'm looking for what was the strong one.
Maybe Apple again. I mean, Apple had the upgrade from JP Morgan.
True. Apple absolutely had the upgrade, but it looked the strongest name off the bat here does feel like it's going to be Palantir. Just looking at this 158 on Palantir, everybody. That's somebody was selling up there. Don't at me. That's just true. Thursday, Friday, even Wednesday to a certain extent. So if this gets into 158, that's sort of an obvious short zone. Tesla's still looking pretty strong. Here's what I want you guys to do, because I mean I'm seeing Tesla at the top of this list, and did I restart this? Did we restart the visualizer?
I didn't. I didn't do it.
Okay, so let's restart it now. Everyone, if you have a symbol in there, I see. Okay, good, bullish, and you did it with. Shout out to you, Adrian, in the chat, putting the $ in there. Make sure you type $ if you want us to talk about a name or look at a name. Any symbol, doesn't really matter. $, then the symbol. I see Tesla, IBIT, Marvell, Hood. Everyone's in there, Palantir as well. So we'll check back in on this just to give us an idea of what people are looking at. And there's the stocks that we're always trying to cover, and then there's what you guys are interested in. We try to give you a little bit of everything. As the market, I mean, it's down 1%. So yeah, we're coming back, but we're not coming back all that far. Like Tesla still trending into this 334 theoretical high because that's where we happen to close. But looking for that trend to break.
Oh boy.
If we don't break the trend, I don't get into this one. Maybe it gives me a topping tail. Who knows what it might be. But Tesla's certainly looking strong. But Palantir, as I said, heading into 158. Still about $2 away from resistance on Palantir. That's now $6 from the highs.
Oh,
sorry,
wow.
Check that.
Yeah, that's right.
$6 from the lows this morning.
Nothing but upside right now, and we're not like layering into these trades. We had thought the short was going to work out, but now it's 9:51, and we have a few data points right here, as expected there on the 9:40. There it goes. The TQs just stopped us out. S&P manufacturing 53 versus 53.3, so slightly underneath, but there it goes, man. Up. I was only going to hold this to the 200 period, so we're able to get out of a little bit, and there's the final straw there for the TQQs. As we just continue to march higher. AMD is on a run too. So you just want to talk about Palantir. It's AMD with straight, I don't need the marks on here, but straight upside fire right now into 162 as all of these names finally going. So it's been a nice little relief rally for sure here for the space. So yeah, we'll try it up here at 162 for one more play now on AMD. And then if this breaks, then we can get the heck out of Dodge right now and just say, you know what, you got us and you got us good right there on the short today. So there's the nice move up for Advanced Micro Devices up into 162. We'll try that short just one more time as the Nasdaq battles all the way back right now. So the short's been good, but other than that, it's been bad. So let's see if now we can turn it around. Finally, Marvell gets a green day. We talked about how bad it was last week. Down, well, it was only the one day, right? Because they reported Thursday. So down 19% on Friday, giving a little bit of a relief.
It's SSR, so a good bounce.
Yeah, but only 0.6. But yeah, I was going to say it's a better bounce than usual because of the market, at least. So at least the market's down 1% and Marvell up. So that's catching a little bit. All right, let's get out of some AMD. I mean, it's a nice downside push here. We just missed the opportunity there as I was looking at Marvell, silly me. So it looks like Marvell is going to cost me more money in multiple ways. But that just went down into 40s there. 44 we just went to on AMD. We were short 40 cents in the money there and didn't take it. So let's wait a little bit as it's pretty volatile out here, to say the least. This is AMD.
Yeah, it's definitely volatile, but the market's starting to separate some winners and losers. Like we've shown you Palantir, which everyone has on the list. It's very strong. Tesla, still number one for you guys out here to look at, is trying to go green. But out in Mag 7 land, Amazon and their disappointing prime numbers, like that's only now getting to the open range high, still down double what the market is and nowhere near pre-market resistance. This feels relatively weak. So if we hold resistance at 225.5, I liked it at 227. Even with the strength, it doesn't seem to want to get all the way up there. So I'm going to see if we can't get this one short off of this 225.5. But I want to see it curl first. I'm also noticing NIO bouncing again off the $6 level. So it looks like it's just going to be like this 6 1/3 down to about $6 here, or 6 to 6.10 on NIO, down 3.5% after they reported their earnings. And a name on the list that I love to see, you guys are interested in SoFi. Yeah, it's SoFi today, like everything else. So SoFi and Robinhood also making the list as well. But this one, remember, $26. Just to remind everybody, $26 pretty much every day last week. SoFi failed if it got anywhere near $26. So just keep that in mind if it comes a little bit higher. Not dumping, it's the wrong word, but some heavy selling is the best way to think about it on SoFi at that $26 level. See if I can't get out of NIO if it bounces off 6 again. But I'm shorting VWAP as long as this holds. It's the only thing that's really holding weakness for now.
Yeah, we're going to try. We finally got a good trade there. We got 61.15s right there on AMD. So if you're short with me there, at least that started to work out a little bit. We'll see, though. If it takes 61, 62, we're gone. But that, to me, the risk was already worth it here. So we've already made money on the reload of this trade. We're down on it because of what we did earlier on that. So, yeah, some news stories today. I mean, just to sort of talk about what we've been doing, Trump ruling on the tariffs. We'll wait to find out what happens there. But it's the taco trade again. Whenever we think tariffs are a bad story, it seems like they're good again. So there it is, right there, back up to the upside. And this kind of is like a different thinking today, because normally it's like, oh no, he slapped higher tariffs on somebody, the market's going to tank, and then it builds back up. And in today's news was like, oh no, the tariffs don't mean anything, or maybe they have to pay them back. We saw rates and everything going one way, but for right now, I'm going to get out some more AMD as that's starting to go back up to the upside. So the Nasdaq not too bad right now, only down 0.89, with the S&P same thing right now, 0.89. So a lot of the heavy lifting has been done in these names here today. Dubai, again, trying to back some of those chip sales. So right into here, NVIDIA, nice move again today, right? We were down at 169. We even talked about maybe that as being a good little support area there for NVIDIA, but they're dancing around as well. They made some money back there. Amazon, Neil talked about that in the beginning there. They lost some of their Prime Day sales. They thought that the memberships would have been a little bit higher than they had seen. They just saw just a little dip down from past years. I feel like everybody that's in Amazon,
everyone's already a member.
Might already be a member. I don't know when were you born, you know? But I think, most people probably making those plays on Amazon today. I think Amazon's a strong name in the space. If you're looking for tech weakness to pick something up, I really like Amazon. I like the retail space. I like everything that AWS is doing as well. Nice little dip down there for Nasdaq, for Advanced Micro Devices. Just went into 161 again, and then all the way back up. This is looking real strong, man. I'm going to get some more out of AMD, but we do have a dare with some news. There it is. I'm just getting some out right now in the low 50s if we're able to get it. Oh, we did get it. Oh, no, we did not. All right, we have to wait for that. I'm bidding 42, not 52. So Neil's number there. Maybe we have to bid 52.
The meaning of life.
Yeah, let's go back, and Robinson, of course. Let's go back over Jackie. Let's go back over to Adair and figure it out.
A couple minutes away here from the ISM manufacturing PMI data, but I want to mention this Google story that you could actually see on your screen, just flashing there in the bottom area where the position board normally is. Google on watch. We know last week we heard reports that they were only going to face a modest fine from the EU with regards to, I guess, some ad tech concerns. Now we're seeing reports that apparently the ad tech fine has been delayed because the EU is worried about backlash from President Donald Trump of the US. So keep an eye here in GOOGL. Looks like its ad tech related fine might be delayed here. Back to you.
Google and Amazon's charts are very similar. They just can't, neither one of them can seem to get going the way that the market has. I'm going to be in, hopefully I'll be in Amazon in a second, but I did get back into Tesla. Tesla came right back, got to almost 33, where we closed at 34. There's the first kind of toppish tail looking candle on a 3-minute in here. So we're able to fade this one in here. I got 80s, but I kind of wanted a price closer to the even dollar at 332. And then if it breaks the new high, then I'm out. Simple as that. I want to play this one back into the volume weighted average price. Tesla was slowing China sales, which, let's be real, it's been going on forever. Slowing China sales, slowing European sales, disappointing earnings growth. So there's been a lot negative, but this could just be, the other thing happening here is we're bouncing off the 50 in the 200 period moving average. So I can like the direction to continue to the downside, but overall, this did respect the 50 period last time. So it's entirely possible that we got close enough to the 50 period and it just wants to be a little bit of a bounce. So keep that in mind if there is some kind of a crazy tank here today in Tesla. They've already sold into this level on some of this bad news. And if it gets back down there again, it could be a bit of a buy. I'm going to be in front of VWAP in here. If we can get 31s and then 30s on the way down, that's what we're going to end up taking. Because overall, you can like the news as being bad or red, but it's what the market decides to do on that news. And for now, the market is buying back up. So waited for a red candle to try to short it, but we are continuing to go higher and higher. The other name that made this list, a little bit of a surprise here, TSLL, we just went over Tesla, of course, AMD, Sean, we mentioned SoFi, Fubo.
Oh, Fubo.
Now, I don't know why Fubo's on the list for everybody.
Or a spot.
Not everybody, or just why it gets mentioned and seems to always make this list, but it's up 6% today. So Fubo's got a little something going on today, and the chart doesn't even look all that bad. It's back above the 50 period. It's actually been trending up for months now, believe it or not, Fubo TV. So good for that. It's not the most exciting stock in the world, but you guys asked for it, so we'll show it to you. It is looking okay, up 6%. Don't know of any particular story, but then the market is bouncing here, so it could be a little bit of that as well. Let's go to Adara. It's time for Happening Now.
Yeah, I'll look into Fubo after. Let's take a look here at ISM Manufacturing PMI, 48.7 here versus 49 forecast. So it is a little bit lower here than the forecast for that ISM Manufacturing PMI. We also had ISM Manufacturing prices paid and employment index. Both of those were also lower than estimates. Then we had the construction spending month-over-month print that was exactly in line with estimates, negative 0.1% versus negative 0.1% expected. So again, lower than expected ISM Manufacturing PMI, in line number there for the construction spending. Let's take a look here at the SPY and the Nasdaq, both of which are trying to push a little bit higher on this number. We know one catalyst that wasn't watched heading into the session that initially seemed to spook the market a little bit was a ruling that was actually against these tariffs, these Liberation Day tariffs set out by U.S. President Donald Trump. Though again, the market right now seems to be shaking off some of these concerns. TSM on watch, Bloomberg reporting that the company's waiver for China's shipments of chip supplies has been pulled here by the U.S. The company later released a statement more or less to that effect. Then we have Constellation Brands and Watch as well here. STZ releasing a new, updated guidance for fiscal 2026, cutting a lot of its estimates here. So they're expecting lower for a lot of metrics than they were previously. Before I send you back to the guys, we're going to take a moment to thank our friends at OGen. Each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE listed Oragenics, or OGEN, is changing that with its first-in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Oragenic is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more and schedule a meeting today. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Adara, for all of that. Yeah, we're just trying to sort of, weasel our way through this as we go. I think that's one of the Sharif terms there as well. So we do get some more out here. I'm going to get another piece out in the 30s if we can for AMD. It's kind of run this top and made me a little bit nervous. We did not reload that short. I think if we can get back up there, we will try to reload it one more time right there. But AMD has been a pretty decent trade for us so far, just waiting for it to eventually come back in. And that number there, again, ISM manufacturing coming out right at us. Construction spending 0.1 versus 0.1 negative. So they're both coming in on the same. And here it is right here on the Benzinga Pro platform as Adara just read it. I was just highlighting it. Now I don't even know where it is. That's CRM. No, I do not care about the CRM earnings preview. But there it is right there. 48.7 versus 49 for the ISM and 01 versus 01 red there for spending. So all the numbers today pretty much coming in line right now. So we'll, all right, let's go. Maybe we do get a little bit of a Bitcoin pullback, but it hasn't really been pulling back at all today. Up to 111. Great job there, bang, for crypto holders as it's making new highs on the day. But I just shorted into there. We did get stopped out a little bit, breaking through 63, but we're back in. I'm also getting some more out here on advanced micro devices as that's coming in into the 20s again. So we'll do that right there. But yeah, thankfully, a little bit of a pullback right now in the market helping us out for our shorts. But the shorts have not been right so far, that's for sure. You've highlighted a big trade there with, not that you had it, but Palantir. Palantir's been, looks like the biggest bid so far.
It was.
Tesla 633 could be a big bid consideration as well.
But none of these, not one of these names has gone green.
Right.
When the market's still down 1%, Palantir got very close, within 20 cents of going green, and then turned around. Tesla came within $1 or so of going green, and then turned around as well. Amazon, NVIDIA, Apple, like Google, it doesn't really matter what you want to look at. Nothing has been able to get into the green yet. I mean, I say yet. It could easily happen. Do have Amazon. Amazon just bounced off VWAP, so this is now putting in some higher lows. Now I got to think of two ways to play this. If it breaks trend, I want to add to this underneath the volume weighted average price. And ultimately, that should mean that I'm not reloading this as well. We're just held on to the volume weighted average price. I'm giving it to the high. But if we break trend down, I got to be adding to this underneath the volume weighted average price. Let's go back over to Adara at the desk.
All right.
Keep an eye on the market here. Just an update on Donald Trump's announcements that happened at 2 p.m. Initially, we were seeing reports it was going to be about the defense space. Now we're seeing reports that it's going to be an announcement of the Space Command headquarters. So again, 2 p.m. Eastern, we will get an announcement from U.S. President Donald Trump reportedly about the Space Command headquarters. Back to you.
Okay, well, the Space Command headquarters.
Space Command.
I don't even know what that. Okay,
I'm down with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be
Sounds
down
like fun.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It sounds like fun. So we'll see what that's all about there. Shout out to Donald. And but I guess it's probably okay for our short that he's not out there talking about anything. I mean, I still think the market is due for a pull down. So I think I don't know if this is your last opportunity to get short or not. We're getting out some more IBIT here as we finally crack below that 21 period moving average and now trying to come in. Where's its home? I don't know. I always like VWAP on plays coming back in, but this is a nice little bouncing spot there, 62.90. So if we're able to get something there on this play, we'll take it. 62.90 or so for IBIT, our next area. Normally I'm bidding flats, but I'm going to wait into the 90s here for this play. See if it comes back in for us. So IBIT so far so good there on that play. 30 cents in the money, break it. Again, IBIT's not really going to matter about individual dollar levels. It shouldn't anyways, because it's just following Bitcoin. So if this can come back into like, I don't want it to get to 108, but that would give us obviously the levels that we need. That would bring us all the way back into here, probably the 200 period. So right there, I won't be able to, I have to get something out at 01s. Normally, I know I just said that I don't really watch O's, but I don't want this thing to pull all the way back and then just start to bounce here. So we'll get a little bit out. We were waiting at 94, it went to 96. So a little bit of a downside trade there for IBIT. We'll see if that's happening. And then it looks like we'll get another piece out, but I don't want to get out too much here just in case the market does come back in, because I think prime for a move down are all the names that have ripped. And I know that's easy to say that, but like when Palantir's up $6 or $7, you know, like look at the market pulling back here just a little bit. Well, this is now down, actually not down too much, down about $2 from the top. So in the names that are strong are the names that, you know, are primed for a little bit of a pullback. So we on it now, man. Here it goes. We get those O's now in IBIT. We'll see if we can get 62.94, and we're on it on AMD right now, back in 70 cents in the money. So, you know, the day's turning itself around. around a little bit here, so we're pretty happy for that one, but we need to get a lot lower. There goes AMD, now the Dollar Club member for advanced micro devices. So we'll take some of that short of 61, and we'll wait to see if iBit wants to get lower as well. Adara with more news, and then we'll talk about some more broader names. Neo is in Neo. That always is a tongue twister.
It really is.
For me. So let's go to Adara, then we'll figure out what that Neo position's all about, and we know we like Amazon.
Yeah, just be aware here. We just had a post from Bill Pulte on X, the individual in the administration who, is in that mortgage space. He was very vocal and very active with regards to the Lisa Cook allegations. In case you guys missed it, Lisa Cook has been accused of mortgage fraud, which led to Trump, I guess, announcing her ouster on Truth Social last week. Now Pulte saying that, quote, wow, exclamation point, big news on Lisa Cook just received. We have not seen what this news is. Bill Pulte has not provided us with a lot of details, likely because some information has to be redacted. But either way, if there is news that we do get here, I'll let you know. Either way, I'm seeing some people discuss this on X. There is, I guess, a teaser of a potential announcement with regards to Lisa Cook from Pulte. Back to you.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa. Anyways. I don't know what that news is going to be, but typically the bond market hasn't really loved any threats to the Fed in a general sense. So keep an eye on those yields if you're not doing so already, everybody. But the market is trying to come back in here. And just going back over to Neo, it wasn't great earnings for them, but it was up for the majority of the morning. And you can find on the watch list, I mean, they did miss top bottom. The guide wasn't even all that good as well. So it is holding relative weakness, but keep in mind, Neo has been on an absolute burner for the last couple of weeks. Like, this stock has been breaking out. The stock has been burning shorts, all that good stuff. My goodness, my allergies are killing me today. It's September. I know this is what happens. Like, go back to school and my allergies go out of control. No. So as long as we're underneath 630, I want to be short. That means reload every time it comes into 630 in the volume weighted average price and just hold for this to break that $6 level. It does look relatively weak. I want to give a shout out to, I just saw in the chat for the first time, someone mentioning Pepsi. Well, it's down too. Like, it's up 3%, but it's been failing. So what was strong this morning as tech rebounded, Pepsi, despite getting an activist, Elliott Management, their activist investors getting involved, doesn't look like it wants to hold up here. This had been part of the rotation trade, right? Like, every time tech was a little bit weak, you did see names like this and Coke and others. J&J would be another example, looking kind of strong. And so might have just pulled a reversal as people are buying up at the open on Qs. Looks like a bit of a not a sell-off, but a pullback is a better way to put it here in Pepsi. Yeah, it's just Elliott, activist investor, +2 as tech goes down. Some of the staple names have been a little bit stronger.
Here we go. I have a question.
Yes. Shoot.
Pepsi's not really that much of a day trading. Like, we don't cover Pepsi much. Okay.
No, it's just new. It's news today.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, it was up 6 points in the pre-market.
Right.
No, I wouldn't trade it. Personally, I don't know. You can trade. It's done 6.5 million shares. You can trade this stock. Yeah. No questions asked. It's just not typically thought of as a day trading stock.
Lucid's reverse split is going well.
It was going better.
Oh, even Randy's bagging on Lucid.
What is it, down
split.
or up? Or what's
no, it's only down 5%.
Oh, okay.
Only down 5%. But see, this is actually not bad. Like, we've seen some of these reverse split, and you'd already lost VWAP and heading lower. I paid for locates on this to see if it would fail a break of $20, which was previously obviously the $2 level. So looking for a fail break up there.
Market back.
I just feel like this is a short that's waiting to happen, but it's not doing anything yet. So I don't think there's an entry for me, particularly now in Lucid. But it was basically free. I think they charge us just to charge us.
Yeah, at least it came back a little bit.
No, it's like 0.00026 cents per share to short Lucid today after the reverse split.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of that is probably just because the shares right now hard to borrow. They will not be tomorrow.
Yeah, it's not that liquid.
Everybody gets it all figured out. So, all right, man, the market downside and then upside again. So, good outs there. I mean, 160, 70. We talked about 90s maybe, which we got that fill already. So that was a good one. Then we were lucky enough to get something in the 70s. So now AMD is trying to pull back to the upside. We're still waiting to short up here if it does come back in. But we wanted to highlight a few other stories there today. Apple gaining a little bit of support from JP Morgan and company there as they were getting the upgrade maybe there, talking about how they look forward to September the 9th, which is a week today, for their release of the new software and or new, why am I typing JPM? It's JPM. They're down to 297. Okay, so Apple right there, nice move. Again, probably should have looked here. They were one of the names that, again, got that upgrade from JP Morgan, just some positive talks about, looking to release that AI, looking to release potentially new software related to AI and their new iPhone 17. I don't know if they're getting a design rebuild either, but that could be something that we're looking at there for Apple. Right now, I did hear a call for Adara, but I mean, Andre, you just let me know if she's ready for us. Okay, so she is ready. Let's go find the story, some story with Adara.
It's a story. It's not a news story or anything, but IONS making a big move to the upside. Guys, this is not a small cap. I want to specify it is an $8.5 billion market cap name. They have a float here of 158 million shares, my bad. 6.8% short float. So this is by no means a small cap. Moving like one, though. Nice gap up here and getting a $95 price target from H.C. Wainwright. The company did announce, I guess, positive data results for one of its treatment. It looks like it's a very science-heavy catalyst, but keep an eye on Ionis Pharmaceuticals. Back to you.
That's better than what I usually say.
Open door is going. Go ahead.
Though usually I just say yada, 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 pharma.
Yes.
But I think science.
Yada, 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 science?
No, you always have to be really careful with these. If you don't know what's going on with the press release, because I've seen, we've seen Viking have what seems like fantastic results, and they sell off on this, but this is breaking and certainly squeezing people to the upside. And speaking of squeeze names, as you mentioned just now, Open Door.
Yeah, Open Door is going.
Open Door is going. The volume's not what it used to be on Open. Only 84 million. It's 10-15. Usually by this time, Open Door is over 100 million shares, maybe closing in on 200 million. So it's less volume than every other time. But remember, on Friday, this came right into about $4.90. I liked it $5 for the short, but any mean reversion going into $5 to me on Open Door until proven otherwise. You just look at the $5 level on Open. I get it, everyone wants it to go, but it's been resistance 5 to 5.25. Let's call it 5 to 5.25. So any kind of a trend reverse going into 5, I'm willing to play. I don't think I paid for locates on this one, though. No, they're free. Okay. It's free to short. So yeah, looking for either a topping tail, crazy topping tail candle, or hopefully just a bit of a trend break on Open Door here. Is that one squeezing to the upside? Amazon is very close to breaking this uptrend. Very, very close to breaking the uptrend. It has to lose VWAP for it to do it, but once it breaks down, I want to look to add to this and then move my stop from the high to 225. So that'd be the plan of action here on Amazon. Again, it just has to come, it comes down to that prime number. The market was overall jittery because of the tariff uncertainty, but it was a prime number that had this one relatively weak, and it's still double to the downside what the Nasdaq is. So it is still relatively weak compared to everything else we're looking at. But as long as it holds VWAP, there's some hope that it could break out that top.
All right, here we go, man. Thank you so much. Spin the money here for our good friend. 44 months. Bratishka, thank you so much. They're 44 months. If I could do math, I'd tell you how many years that was. Wow. Congratulations on that one. Yeah, it's a pretty easy one, right? 44 months you came here, gave me more like 4,400 months. There it is. So thank you so much. I mean, I'm glad you're gaining all this information and all the love. And again, thank you so much for continuing your journey with us here at Trader TV Live. And oh boy. Yeah, buddy. All right, man. Life's getting a little bit better over on this side now. Some of the market's falling back in for us. So the shorts finally starting to print here on advanced micro devices. So that's going to be a good one. And obviously here as well on IBIT as that's coming back in. We've taken some bids here as here comes the market, man, right back in. So yeah, we're liking this move here for sure. Nice play back to the downside. Okay, perfect. Right now with AMD. So we just took another out at 160.50, or what did we get there? 60s? 160.55 there for our trade on Advanced Micro. So again, a pretty good move lower, but the market just getting bought up. This is an interesting area because we're at VWAP right now. So this is going to be, there it is. So now it's starting to pop up. So we do hold their most recent level there. So I was saying up here, this might be the last chance to get short. Not that the market's not going to rip from here. It's just like there was a potential downside push finally on some of these names. And it's just we nailed AMD short all day, but it had us because it broke through that 160, which was able to get us out. And then we had to wait. And we did pretty good here. We waited a whole $1 and change before we went back into the short. And that's really making the difference right here. Patience today pays. No Oscarito. No longs for me today. I didn't even write anything down long on the board. You were in or looking at Google, which I thought, and then I thought,
never got into it.
Never got into it.
No,
Okay,
I haven't traded it.
I was just going to say that would be one maybe.
But it's not break. It just won't break out.
It's not doing anything today.
It's down, but it's down
flat.
2 points. It's kind of like Amazon. Like they're both down 2 points underneath the volume weighted average price. So I can kind of, I kind of liked it, but it's holding support. But how do you, what do you do with this? You could wait for 208, which it's not giving you. I'm just not really seeing any super strength there. Like if you were looking long, it needed to be something like Palantir for whatever reason.
Coming right back.
Like that's what you needed off the open. Palantir's still not at that 158, by the way. And as I mentioned, I'm looking at that at Amazon. It broke that trend, so I added to it. My average price is 60. My stop is at the even dollar, so I'm risking about 50 pennies. See if that can't play back into the low of the day. But wow, Tesla, right back to the high on Tesla. Just it tries to pull back, doesn't go. We're right back into those highs. It doesn't matter the news at this particular moment. It just seems like a little bit of a relief rally is going into effect. And one place that we haven't looked, well, we've looked at crypto, but not ETH. Like ETH, Ethereum, does not break out Friday's highs either. So it's also pulling back off of some of those highs. Maybe we're consolidating here. I think, as Sean was mentioning, if you like short, this could be your chance to get into something or hold something if it's in that range, because we're taking a bit of a breather. And when I look over at what's supposed to be one of the biggest barometers for the market, look at how far back NVIDIA came. NVIDIA came all the way back into the volume weighted average price. It's trying to hold it here. If this fails on NVIDIA, to me, the short has just got to be good if we're not going to break away from the volume weighted average price. When I'm looking across the board, the market's trying to hold VWAP, but that's near the highs. Stock like NVIDIA down 2% and looking relatively weak. So you have to have your outs in this particular case. As far as I'm concerned, if we break 225, this could fill in the gap. We could have one of those mornings where we're just going higher, higher, higher. So I'm in Amazon. NEO is NEO. It just got back to VWAP for the third time here. Well, technically the second time, but the third time I've been in it. And we're again short off the volume weighted average price here on NIO. Has its own news, has its own earnings, and the Chinese stocks can do whatever they want regardless of what the Nasdaq seems to care. Let's go over to Adara because we need to see what some small cappers are doing.
Recap.
Yeah, the first of these names isn't even really a small cap. We do have quite a few runners, though, even just coming up now I'm seeing on the blotter. So there's likely a lot of these that I've missed. Definitely check out the midday show with Sharif and Joe for some more small cap trading. Sharif trades these quite a lot, so keep an eye on that for sure for a little bit more coverage. Let's get into this small cap recap, though. IWM, Russell 2000, getting a nice push off the low, much like what we saw with the Nasdaq and the S&P 500. Keep an eye on this one later in the week as well as we get some more closely watched economic data, like the JOLTS job openings on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we'll get some trade balance data. And Friday, we will get the closely watched non-farm payrolls. We know that the Russell 2000 is a little bit more rate sensitive, so keep an eye on that data heading later into the week. Let's take a look here at CYTK. This is about a $5.5 billion market cap, so not technically a small cap, though it is part of the Russell 2000. They reported, well-received data for one of their treatments on Sunday. Then we have HOTH, HOTH Therapeutics. This one also has a positive catalyst in terms of the pharmaceutical variety and space there. They're reporting apparently their antisense therapy demonstrated some efficacy against certain cancers. Good look here for HOTH. Last but not least, SOGP is still running. Last week, as of Thursday, they announced that they approved a special cash dividend. So Sound Group continuing to rally after some strength last week. They put a $3.7 million share float for SOGP. Back to you.
Yeah, look, same kind of thing for me happening right now as we continue to go short, but slippery slope, we keep saying that. So I just try to keep getting out every time we go down. So we did reload that trade, and then we're able to get out in the mid-teens again, 15, 16s, our best out there for IBIT. We do have a new position. I'm trying Tesla against that high right there. So that's 40s. So I'm just going to try it against the 40 right now. We're $1 away from that level. So we did take something out when we broke through 332 to take 40 cents right there. Actually, we took 332s. So we are, I'm waiting in the 80s as well. That's right where this 21 period moving average is. It's kind of held it right there. So we'll see if it can break lower. And then of course we're running right into the 50s. So this is where I start to feel like maybe getting a little bit too biased one way. It's already 10:20 right now, and the market has decided that it's not really going to be that free fall kind of a day that it looked like it was starting out as, in my opinion. So we've been doing well to get out, but we are definitely on radar and on watch now for potential dip buys now in the space. Like that got into the 200 period, that's the 50 period, that's AMD. That was a dip buy. So I'm starting to recover out of these shorts, and just to say, hey, look, if the market cracks, I feel like there's a huge downside right now. Like you're kind of flagging up here, looking like, there's the pull, here's the flag. And it looks like we could be making a little bit of a move down on AMD or the market in general here. Again, like pull up, boom, but we could also break higher. I just don't see the news right now to break any higher, but it's just one of those things where the market's a bull market and we're strong. We were up last month. It seems like we're trying to do it again right now. So trying to get back to Greensville, it's a tough row to hoe to get back to green today, but the market's done it before, man. Just a little bit of a move now. So, all right, we'll wait for it. The market's coming back just again a little bit. AMD is still that dollar, but we're still going to be red on it, but we're waiting for that trade to come through. IBIT, same kind of a ways. We just got some more there. We should have maybe covered some more. I'm going to bid, what are we short right here on IBIT? We're short at 28s. I don't know. I don't want to take a 20 fill because that's not enough, but hopefully we can get that, and then we can fade back into 63. So that's kind of the levels that we're looking at right now. No longs for any of us today. I will keep on, unless you've been long.
No, never got it.
Yeah, no longs yet here today. So we're both in the same sort of a thought here that the market is maybe not a long, but it's been fooling us today, that's for sure. We're back.
It still won't break these
nicely, yeah. We did get another, okay, we just got a 50-cent fill. We're going to throw it to Neil in a second, but we just did get our Tesla fill down there, so maybe this is the first sign that something's trying to crack. I don't know, but we're going to hold on to these shorts.
Yeah, and while we do, every trader knows that if you want to grow, you have to risk more. At least that's how it used to be, because Trade the Pool's changing that. It's the new revolution in stock trading. You don't need a large deposit. Trade the Pool is built for any trader who wants to grow without putting everything on the line. Just small skin in the game, and you're trading with real capital. Here's how it works. You pay a one-time evaluation fee starting at $47, and that's your total risk. From there, you trade real shares, no CFDs, using company capital. Head to tradethepool.com or scan the QR code on the screen to find out more. Shout out to them. Shout out to Mitch, who came on the program as well. So we appreciate them as well. Open Door is trying. So I slapped the trend line on Open Door. It's up 8%, squeezing, but it did this on Friday morning. Almost not the same move because it came from further down, but to the same area into this $5 range. And it is about to close underneath the trend line. At that point, I'm short to the high of the day on Open Door. Amazon did just hold that 225 level as well, so that's trying to get back into the volume weighted average price. NEO's still at VWAP, so it's not really doing anything, but looks like Open Door is going to be the next one in here for me. Free locates for us on Open, but wow, as this one tries to curl, Palantir did go green.
Oh, did it? Okay, yeah. Wow.
It did. And it is still green. Palantir feels like it's the strong one today. That 158 level is seemingly coming back into play. Like, is this going to be... This might get to that 150. I don't know if that's the right one to fight. I said I wanted to short 158, but we're already in NEO, we're in Amazon, and about to be in Open Door as well, so I'm not going to short Palantir. Let's just leave it at that. If it breaks out through 158, maybe we're taking a long at some point on PLTR. But that one is absolutely breaking backs of anybody short. Like to me, Amazon's at least holding the same high that it has held all morning. Palantir just keeps making highs over and over and over again. It's distinctly different from a lot of the names we're watching here, for sure. And shout out to everyone in the chat dropping some names in there. I have seen Nuke and also CoreWeave. CoreWeave has been getting blasted. It was down 10% actually at one point, and then getting maybe an SSR bounce or something along those lines. Down 8% now, but it was down 10 points. It cannot seem to hold the $100 level. This is something in the price discovery phase, unfortunately for CoreWeave. Yeah, they've gotten a little bit of the kiss of death. Like some of these recent IPOs have been pulling back. This one can't cash the bid. Doesn't matter that the market's been strong today. Doesn't matter that the chips have been bouncing today. CoreWeave is doing its own thing and looking like it's not going to be the most productive day unless you happen to be short this. Should have been short this. I didn't even pay for locates on this today. It's the first time nobody in the office paid for locates on CoreWeave in 2 months.
Yeah, I don't normally even look there.
Every single day, somebody has paid for locates on CoreWeave every day, except for today, since it came to market.
Okay. Well, maybe that's why nobody's green today, as it's been a hard one to fight the Fed today for sure, as we wait for Lisa Cook and some apparent decisions coming through. I hope some of you guys are green. What's up, Fabian, in the background as well right there. We're just trying to fight. That's all we can do every day. And right now we've got some decent positions, so we're trying to hold on to these shorts as they're trying to come back through there. So yeah, what's up, Mike Peter Ryder? That's what I was saying. A little bit of a hard day here, I would think. Unless, again, like we were saying, some of the names that you've been picking on have gone the right way. I mean, we could look in at Pepsi. We did talk about that stake there. But look, I mean, if you go long, this name was up 5% today. You know, so if you're long Pepsi today on an Elliott stake, which I was like, oh, okay, maybe they know something. You know, so some of these names, it's like if you were trading short, the tech names, you got ran over. If you're trading short names or long names that you thought were strong, you got hit there as well. So, all right, IBIT making a move back. You know, we're just now finally going to get into more as we've made a move back into the high of the day again for IBIT. So we're short 31s, not looking huge here, but not looking bad. Let's wait to see. Breaking the high of the day for IBIT is something right now, 11.5. So that's great. When we started the show, we were at 108. So it's a nice move back for crypto as the space starting to fall a little bit with the Nasdaq as we just bounce again clean off of VWAP again. So that's what I mean. Like sometimes we talked about this with Mitch and everything, have the ability to flip up your opinion a little bit. Looks like the Nasdaq just held pretty clean right there. So be careful, everybody, with these shorts. Looks like it's getting a little carried away here to the long side. AMD, our out is breaking through 162. So we only have a small piece left of this. We've actually done quite well and haven't reloaded back into this one yet. So, so far so good here on this. We'll get a little bit more as we go over to the desk and see what Adair is up to.
Yeah, we got this evidence here from Bill Pulte, who is, of course, the Director of Federal Housing of the U.S. with regards to Lisa Cook. He had teased new evidence. Apparently, I guess they received video proof that the residence that Lisa Cook, of course, Fed's Lisa Cook, declared as her primary residence is being rented out to tenants. I have to look into this more, but either way, just to let you guys know, this is the evidence that Bill Pulte was teasing earlier. Back to you.
Video evidence?
Now there's video evidence?
Yeah, that would seem to be bad.
Yeah, I think that she's going to wind up being guilty, but I don't. I don't know.
That just is what it is.
I just hope it all settles out because honestly, this weighing over the Fed doesn't seem to be smart. That. And plus, he has the Supreme Court on his side and everything. I'm talking about Trump. So, anyways, apparently the lawyer, what's his name, Abby something. He's the guy that's been doing everything with the White House and with everything in government in D.C. So Lisa Cook is lawyered up for sure. That's for sure. So okay, yeah, that's about it for me. So she is cooked. That's a good one, Lisa Cook.
Well,
that's a good one. Shout out to whoever that was.
It does sound like that
sounds
could be the
pretty
case.
Funny right there. So we did not get enough short on AMD. It does go all the way to the top and then it comes all the way back down in. But we did get reloaded. Yeah, we're like the fish in the barrel today, though, it seems like. But there it is. We did get short on Tesla again. So let's just see where it's going. I'll take another bid here in the 30s. But so far, so good on the reload. There it is. We're short now, 332.70. So it's 50 cents in the money now, but looking for a little lower here on the market. And there goes IBIT finally. So we did okay. We just gave back a little bit there because we went short. But the short was good. We were short early. That was bad, but the secondary short's good. But there goes IBIT, man. It looks like we're heading higher here as the Nasdaq also holds, and so does crypto and Bitcoin. So there it is, finally back in. It looks like that 108. Talked about
108's been holding.
Maybe that's the level.
If you look at Bitcoin,
what just
on the higher time frame,
Tesla bids.
There we go. I was just looking at ETH for a second. What is with all these pop-ups? Trading View?
Holy, Trading View, yeah, you need that revenue.
That's wild. Let me go to the daily chart because that's the one we want. We've held on to prior resistance turning into support. So what's happened, and looks like we're in the bounce zone. So that dip buy that, I shouldn't say everybody, I'll just speak for myself. The dip buy down in the 90s isn't happening today. One note on this SOGP, that sound group, halted to the upside. The tap is $22. So this is not the first halt. This should be, this is like the second halt today for SOGP, up 80%, and the theoretical auction price 50 cents higher from here on SOGP approximately. But overall, the market tried to bounce. Amazon has a wall at 225, at least for now. So it was able to get into 225 and then bounce off VWAP, which is at 224.5. So it's going back and forth between those levels over and over again. It did briefly break trend, so I jumped and added at that price. Probably not the right move. If we can hopefully break down through VWAP, that would confirm the trend break one more time. But it's just holding these lows as the market tries to go higher. So there's no reason for me to flip this unless we start breaking out. NEO's kind of doing its own thing. Holding, trending down ever since their earnings this morning.
Holding on the offensive line.
Holding on the offense. We're going to hear a lot of
Protecting
that.
Dak.
We're going to hear a lot of that for the Cowboys this year because they're going to be fighting for their lives and throwing the ball a lot. I'm for the record, I don't like the Dallas Cowboys because I'm a Buffalo Bills fan and they trounced us in the Super Bowl. But I will say this. I think Dak Prescott, and a buddy of mine was asking who's a value pick in a 1QB league. I go, Dak Prescott. Because he's going to throw the ball a bajillion times.
Man. They're going to be down.
And he's going to have to scramble. They're going to be down a bunch. Their defense is going to be weak. And that's what you want in fantasy. You actually want a quarterback that's not sitting there and handing the ball off in the fourth quarter in fantasy. You want a guy that has to go out there and put up some garbage time points. So shout out to Dak.
Play to win.
Dak's going to do well. Pickens going to do well as well, I do think. But, in both my leagues, I got who. I
like both those plays. Right there. Yeah, this is the Bills. The Bills last year, I think they're running out of time for the Super Bowl. You only get so many opportunities there, so I'm hoping this year they can do something. Right now, there's been 8 years of disappointment from Josh Allen. We'll see if they can do it again. Hopefully they can this year.
They just got to get there.
They just got to get there. That's what I mean. So it's been disappointing so far. We'll see if the Bills can turn it around. Okay, so we're obviously excited for Green Bay. We'll see what they can do this year as well. All right, so there goes Tesla right now. It's Dollar Club. So that's good. Let's just see how far Tesla can go. I don't even have any bids anymore. Well, that's not true. I do have one at 331 flat. Let's see if we can hold 331. We'll just going to bid it and see if it comes back in. We're at 331.05. I shouldn't say flat if we're at 05s. But that's where we're at there. And then we'll see for a little bit of a pullback after that. Hopefully we're in for that. But yeah, the other stories today, we talked about that Pepsi move downside. Novo Nordisk had a little bit of a story today as well. Real world data suggests Novo Nordisk Wegovy has stronger heart benefits compared to Eli Lilly. So I don't, again, this wonder drug that is Wegovy, Ozempic, Manjaro, I don't know any of these words. But these seem to be working wonders in other places as well. So NVO, down right now, but, nice move if you look at the daily down here off of that earnings. So that was not good. Eli Lilly catching probably some strays a little bit today, yeah. So, on the report that Novo is stronger for the heart. Maybe Eli Lilly getting hit there, but doesn't seem like it. Oh, Kraft Heinz is splitting. So KHC, let's have a quick look to see what that's doing. Let's go. Get down, futures, man. Here we go. All right, so KHC down 5. Again, like a story where maybe you thought the split might have been good for it as they try to figure out different business models and proposals and things like that. There's a downside play in for Kraft Heinz, so not everything's safe there today, that's for sure. Kraft Heinz downside as we review some of these plays as well. Klarna targeting 1.27 billion US IPO, valuing the company at 14 billion. So Klarna, a play like in a firm, Neil, as we talked about this. Firm had a good I think it was a good day, wasn't it, on Thursday or Friday? Yes, it was.
Well, it pulled back pretty heavily.
Pulled back, but yeah, good day on reports. So was Upstart, Klarna, Upstart, Affirm, PayPal, Block, all those, obviously all four of them different, but in the new fintech space as well. Other than that, I mean, Amazon Prime, and Neil's already still in that one, so we can hold off to see what's going on there. But yeah, basically a busy day for some of the trades, and then Apple with the upgrade. I keep calling it an upgrade. I'll have to reread our notes. I don't think it was an upgrade. It was just a note that they are looking for strength in Apple heading into September 9th, which is the same thing that I said. I still feel like Apple does have a huge runway. And if they just announce anything AI related, this stock is gone. So I think you got to wait for that. It could be gone either way, right? Either disappointment back in or back up to the upside. So, all right, let's go to Neil quickly, and then we'll head off to Adara.
Well, one thing you don't need Klarna for
yes,
is eSignal. Why? Because the first month's free. No buy now, pay later if you don't have to pay anything for it, everybody. So take advantage. You've got a professional charting platform which gives you access to every market with reliable data, level 1 and 2 access, and balance locator, tick charts, everything imaginable. You can automate your trading. You can trade through multiple brokers, over 30 brokers, actually over 50 brokers, I believe they said you can connect to and trade. API, so you can automate your trades, which is another way to take advantage of these types of markets here as well. It's an entitlement-based platform, which allows you to add and subtract what you do and don't want if you decide to keep it around. And as I said, the first month is free. So you try it out, you scan the QR code in front of you, click the link in the description, you try it out. If you like it, great. You up your trading game. And if you don't, then it didn't cost you anything except a little bit of time, which you're putting into the markets anyways if you're trying to succeed. And if you're trying to succeed, you want to stay up to date on what's going on in the market, which we always do with Adara.
KHC, this has fallen pretty aggressively. We did have Warren Buffett of Berkshire Hathaway, of course, commenting to Becky Quick of CNBC this morning that he's a bit apparently disappointed, quote unquote, that Kraft Heinz is splitting up. So KHC definitely to the downside. Of course, they did announce that they're splitting up as well. But this Warren Buffett note also of interest here, guys. Back to you.
Well, you don't want...
What was it? I missed it, actually.
He's disappointed in this little split up.
Okay.
I don't get it. It's not like...
I mean, he's done a lot of research. His team.
Not gigantic differences in business. Like, the whole idea is that it's supposed to create lots of efficiencies.
Synergies.
Yeah, but it's... I don't know. Whatever.
Is that a school word or
it's
what?
like,
back to school synergies?
Well, I think it's a good word. I don't know if it's word... Is it the word of the day?
Synergies? I think it could be the word of the day. Like, it's not our typical word of the day where it's like one that we've never heard of and it's like, ooh, what's that word? But I hope my kids are finding some synergies with their classmates and teacher today.
Yes, I certainly hope so.
We're trying to use that in... my daughter has a new teacher. Never taught at the school before.
Oh, a new okay.
So she's excited for that. And then my boy got exactly the teacher that he was hoping for, but apparently that was written in stone. So
that's good.
Yeah, so he's really happy that everything went according to plan. So that's nice.
It's always good. It's always good when you get like a teacher like where you're like you know it's going to be a good year.
Yeah.
So like we found out that my daughter's teacher, our neighbors, her best friend's older sister, had this teacher and had a good experience.
Good,
so
there
we're
you
like,
go. So that's the key.
I mean, come on, like we're feeling pretty good about that. So. Yeah, hopefully for everyone out there I know here we're just going back to school. I know a lot of our viewers in the U.S., you guys have probably been back in school for quite some time.
Yeah.
Usually over a month, actually, for a lot of you. All right, here we go. Get through VWAP this time.
Is the market going to do something or what?
Yeah, and Amazon continues to bounce off VWAP, so it goes at first 50 cents, but doesn't really continue to the downside. I'm going to get a bid at the even dollar, because if it goes another 50 cents, then we should take that as well as we go to the desk again, Adara.
Yeah, these sectors are decidedly red across the board. Electronic technology, Boeing, oddly enough, one of the lone standouts here to the upside, but we've got KLAC, Dell and day two earnings here, all notably red. NVIDIA to the downside, Apple, Broadcom, GE among them. Technology services also really weak here. Google to the downside, Adobe down about 3% here. Fortinet getting hit with a downgrade this morning. They're sharply to the downside as well. Finance pretty red. Retail trade actually does have some strength. CVS to the upside, TJX to the upside, but Amazon, as we know, facing, I guess, lower than expected Amazon Prime subscriptions leading up to their Prime event. This name actually is red. Health technology a bit mixed. Consumer durables a bit mixed. Producer manufacturing, lots of red names here. GEV down 6%. LRCX down almost 4%. Transportation weak. process industries weak. But then we do have some strength in health services and distribution services. So lots of weakness here, though there are a couple names that are standouts to the upside. Back to you.
You're just saying that we both want to get some GEV. I really like GE Vernova. I think that, the power that's going to be required for all of this, these tech plays are extraordinary. So,
yeah, the data center.
The data center plays.
I mean, it's now down 15%. So
yeah, that's good enough for me, man. Almost bear territory, right? A stock goes down 20%, the stock has entered bear territory. And it's kind of crazy when sometimes we think about that with some of these names because we've seen such a huge, meteoric rise to the top that you feel like, just a 15% pullback isn't that much. But then, statistically speaking, that's when
you want to buy that.
You're going to try to start buying it. Generally, the 50-period moving average will be around, and again, stock dependent, but some of these tech names, when they're pulling back, it's about that 15 to 20%. At least that's what I've been seeing so far. I keep seeing Fabian out of the corner of my eye. These guys are busy here, so we want to thank everybody for staying with us this whole time. As far as, well, obviously you're staying with us.
You got Mark taking measurements.
Yeah, Mark is here. And hit the like button, man. 1.1K right now, 78,000 watching. So let's get going here. Again, it is that thing, and we've actually done the studies now on it, that if you do hit the like button, the odds are around, I think it's like 49% chance you'll have a winning trade or so. If you don't hit the if you don't hit the like button, the odds of having a winning trade are 5%. So, that's it. So there you go.
Actually, I'll give you a better reason to hit the like.
Yeah,
if you hit the like button, they magically change our lunch from just random chicken on a salad, and then we'll get something special like shawarma. That actually isn't. Tilapia. I wish it was true, but it's not necessarily true. The real question is, are we still going to get blackened fish once a week? We're now starting. Let's go. We're now through VWAP. The Nasdaq is now rolling over. So, the market's through VWAP. S&P today. NVIDIA is back at 169. So finally, the market starts to roll back in here. It looks like it's just a little bit technical.
Perfect.
Nasdaq coming right back in. It just could not break that high. And now we're starting to break a little bit of support in here. I got to make sure if we hold VWAP on this, 224, that I'm getting it out in front of 224 here on Nasdaq.
Yeah, I just want to, the reason why we asked for news, we have Adara here, so hit the like button for Adara, obviously getting us all the news when we ask, which is fantastic. I asked her any news on this move. No, she is coming with something, but just quickly right there, 160.30s, we're out right there. It's $1.50 now in the money on AMD and $1.80 right now on Tesla. Let me check what the situation on my car is right now. It's getting pumped up in the basement right now, pump it up. Is that what it's called? Electrifying right now. We are at 60% right now. So far, so good on that one. Nice move down there for Tesla, losing some air in its tires right here, but nice day for Tesla for sure. Well off the lows, but also well off the highs now. We nailed that one. It's Tesla. It's a good one. We'll turn green on Tesla. What's up, Adara?
The only thing I'm seeing here with regards to the market is apparently Europe, I guess, having a record-setting day with bond sales exceeding 49.6 billion euros in one day. So, we know bonds have been on watch with regards to some of this action. That's the only thing I'm really seeing with regards to the market, and likely not what's making these moves here. Back to you.
Right.
Yeah, Palantir apparently was very clean off the 158 level. But shout out to Hercules Jack. You entered IREN at 26.4. How would you look for an exit in terms of day trade strategy? Sure. Was this the same question twice? It is. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hercules.
To Hercules. I just think of, where's that from again? It's
the Hercules movie?
No, it's Eddie Murphy in something. He's like, Hercules.
Oh, I don't think, does he say Hercules or something else?
What the hell movie is that? I'm just going to go over IREN. It's the Nutty Professor, maybe? Yeah, is that the one? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, he plays 18 different characters.
I say Fabian.
That's Eddie Murphy when in the last vestige.
Yeah, people said the clumps.
Him being funny. The clumps, that's what it was. 26.4, well, first of all.
I just read the chat.
26.40 would be the breakout right in here. Great breakout trade, hold support, breakout. As far as a day trade would go, yeah, I always trail out of these because you have an obvious resistance spot when it breaks trend. And to me, it broke trend a while ago. Anywhere you look at it, it broke trend here, or you could slap a trend line now and sort of say, okay, well, now look at this higher low and that higher low, and then maybe get it out if it breaks that trend line. But it went bottom to prior resistance into that 30 level. So you got 10% on a breakout trade in 15, in half an hour, like an hour or so. I think that's fantastic. So whether it's VWAP, I don't like VWAP in that situation when it's at parabolic, but yeah, good luck. I would look at slapping a trend line on it usually for a day trade. It's already broken the top trend. You could slap another one on there. That certainly has worked. So yeah, a good look on IREN. Let me know what made you look at that particular stock. Probably the action on Friday, I'm assuming.
Yeah, great look there on IREN. So Tesla right now is, let's see if it holds VWAP. We still have we have less than half on. We had so many different positions on this name, I can't even remember. I have to look back to see how many shares that was. But, good bunch of outs here for like $1 and change. And then now you're dripping, it is dripping. I mean, it was a bigger move right there early when I was asking about what the story was there, but you're still just falling right back into VWAP. So this story has just sort of started if we're looking short right now. It looks like we want to hold VWAP, but again, we'll just empty out some of the clip right here because technically it's at the level. I still think we fall back. I think the market comes all the way back, like 2,300-ish. So right now we're at 23,160. I think 23,1 would be kind of cool right into there if that were to happen. I'm not just saying this because we're short. We broke, I'd like it to come down, but there's VWAP. We were holding for like a half hour there and then finally gave it up. So I could just see the market falling back in just a little bit until we get some more certainties, again, about what exactly the Supreme Court and Congress and all this want to say about this tariff rollback potentially. Right there voted 7-4 in favor of not being allowed to apply and collect money and sort of change the trade agreements the way they have been. But then at the same time, it's Congress and they can overturn everything. So at some point here, I feel like, they will have the back of the sitting president. So that's probably what's going to happen here. So we'll wait to see what the market does give back, if anything. And right now, I think the Nasdaq at its worst case was maybe down 1.6. I was going to say I'm not sure, but there's a little bit of a pullback happening right now. We're happy for it, man. We're $4 now in the money on everything. So it's AMD is a big one there. And then, as I said, Tesla going green for us P&L wise. We did have DraftKings was mentioned by Mitch, so just another name that we haven't really looked at. He was telling to sell off DraftKings. It's up since then. Obviously, we were down here at 930. That was $46. We had a nice move in DKNG up to 47.60, and even that one now fading. And sometimes you want to look at names that have had strength, like a DraftKings, to pick up on weakness, right? And so they had a great opportunity today to pick that name up. Another name, nuclear, you talked about GEV, or Dara did, to the downside as she was doing a little bit of a sector recap there and looking at some names. But SMR, some of the nuclear plays also downside here. And this is looking technically bad to me anyways. Like, you're trying to hold, and if we do, fine. You want to get back into this area, but nice move up to 37 on Thursday, Friday, and now SMR just fading right back into $30 here again. So just some of the sectors that have remained hot. Remember, they're still not making money there in small modular reactor land, so watch out for that. NUKK, I think,
Oklo's doing better than that.
Oklo's doing better than that one? Okay.
Yeah, but like it's down too. Like it's like SMR, not to... I own SMR and not Oklo, so obviously in the wrong one, at least according to the price action. But this is at least holding a little bit higher in the group. But I think you got to you always separate them. There's a big difference between, like, we were just talking about GEV, GE Vernova, or like Vistra, or CEG as well. Like, there's a big difference between those and then the other power plays, which are not really generating profits at this particular point. A little bit riskier, but certainly I'd say Oklo doing much, much better in the overall space despite being down that 3%. Let's go to the desk. Dara, what do you have for us?
Yeah, I mean, this U.S. dollar here we're going to look at for Money Talks. This is still very much in this range that we've been in for roughly half a month, starting in mid-August 2025. Base here around 97.6, top around 98.8. We're trading right now around 98.1, so about midway through the range that we did actually get a little bit of a wick higher, it looks like, earlier in the day. So nothing new here when it comes to the U.S. dollar in terms of this, I guess, chop that we have here. Let's take a look at the FedWatch tool, though, because this is actually pretty interesting, guys. We now have 91.7% of participants expecting there will be a 25 basis point cut at the September meeting on September 17th. So this is a pretty high percentage of people expecting that cut. 8.3% of participants are expecting a hold still. Now, why this is significant, too, is because we know we have the NFP data coming up on Friday. These job-related numbers can be huge. We know that employment is something the Fed is watching even more closely as of late, especially after that surprise print we got at the end of July or the start of August there. So keep an eye on this metric and these numbers coming throughout the week. JOLTS job openings coming through will be also, I guess, the start of employment-related data this week, too. That comes through tomorrow at 10 a.m. Keep an eye on GE Healthcare as well, GEHC. I just saw this headline coming in. The company announcing that it obtained FDA clearance for its Revolution Vibe CT system. The market just pushing lower on this. So GEHC on watch the catalyst does not seem to be market moving, guys. Back to you.
For all of that, yeah. Again, some good names to talk about as we go the healthcare space as well. XLV. Yeah, we've seen some moves higher, obviously, in the space recently with UNH. It's finally starting to get going. We've seen Oscar was a good call as well there, but right here. Again, coming up into some areas there, XLV, grab some healthcare. Nice move to the downside, 130, 128 to 130. Nice move up to 137 goes XLV. So we'll wait to see if that one can get going again. And she said GEHC, I think is the right symbol there. Yeah, so here it is for GE Health. So just a quick little look on this one. Yeah, down 3%. So, you know, picking up some different names. Oscar was down, OSCR. We got some out. Yeah, we got some out on this name recently as well on Oscar, but we talked about this, making those highs into 1750 again, so OSCR. So lots of different things passing around here. AMD and Tesla, the only two positions that I have here, and probably just going to hold them now as, yeah, good coverage. Let's see if the Nasdaq wants to hold. I still think it goes lower. I don't want to turn around on the futures yet, but I do think they start to head a little bit lower here.
Yeah, speaking of healthcare, I believe we mentioned the strength in UNH still holding up. And we know Berkshire is interested in this one. They've already bought a decent sized position in UNH. I think it's still like 19th or 19th largest holding or somewhere in the high teens in terms of their holding. So there's always a chance that this 300 level that's been holding at least all of the last couple of weeks has been a spot where maybe they're adding. We'll find out the next 13F, but it's another strong relative day for UNH. Some of it could be rotation, some of it could be chasing Berkshire Hathaway, but whatever it is, it's getting closer and closer to breaking out this consolidative top here on UNH to about $317. So it's worth keeping an eye on. Nice little rounded bottom. You got the news, you got the 13F, and then that was kind of a temporary top because that happens. They sell the news, and then now it's trying to break right back up there. And I think it's helped by this rotation. If tech continues to show some weakness, then that can be good, particularly for UNH and everyone that's been trying to get this one to actually rally past 300 to 320 bucks so it can fill in the gap. Like the stock is still down almost, it's almost cut in half from the April highs, just a little bit better than that. So there's a heck of a lot more room that it could go, and a lot of people, including Berkshire, have been betting on that. Amazon just bounced, might be breaking the trend. It might be breaking that trend line to the downside here. Yep, looks like we did. I should be punching out of this one. And yeah, I'm just going to follow my rule and get out.
Amazon.
So we end up bouncing off 223.5 on Amazon. So 225, bounce off 223.5. I'll take it out just underneath the 24 level. But that's a bottoming tail candle at that same higher low. So I am out. I'm looking for what's next. And the first place that comes to my mind was the fail. So Amazon obviously worked out because it didn't break higher. SMCI continued to break higher and higher and higher. But look at how weak this turned out to be. Down 4%, big time continuation play from the weakness that it had for weeks now. I mean, this hasn't really had much of a bid for a while. It's now with the 200 period moving average on the daily, down 4%. If the chips are weak and NVIDIA is at the low, then to me, this is one that should be weaker. If we play back into the volume weighted average price, this is a name I want to be short. I think it ticks all the boxes. China risk, falling with the rest of tech or falling with the chips in general, so I can pay attention to what's going on in NVIDIA in particular and what's going on in the group. And it's weaker than all of them. It's down a bigger percentage. It broke the low of the day when NVIDIA didn't break the low of the day. Broke the low of the day when the Nasdaq was at VWAP. So this makes a lot of sense if I can cash any kind of a pop back into 40. You need to get back into this name. Like Amazon was good, but this one should have been dead to rights when I look back on it.
Yeah, we a little bit of a difficult day. We've only traded a few key names: AMD, Tesla, IBIT, and the Qs. Let me just see what's going on here with IBIT again, real quick. See if there is anything going on at all right now. So yeah, we did get stopped out. Not near the high, well, near the highs, yeah, but not bad overall. I can't really hate on, what we had done here today on IBIT. We did like the levels, just didn't really level out for us, needless to say, but maybe potentially turning around. We were lucky enough to get another down push here on Tesla. That could have been averaged in, but for right now, let's just like to see, like I said, a little bit of a red day around here. Let's see if it gets a little bit better for lunch. I have not looked today. Okay, well, it's not fish again, and hopefully you've had a lot of these today. There hasn't been, like I said, many, but it just says grilled chicken right now. So, okay, could be okay with cold pasta salad. So, maybe that's okay. Seasoned veggies and then a Caesar. So maybe it's more like a chicken Caesar kind of a day right there. So we'll figure it out right there, what's down with that. But yeah, as we know, what's for lunch can be sometimes good, sometimes not so much, as long as we stay away from that vaunted tilapia. I think most people would be happy today. So
I just got a sneak peek at through. I'm not going to. I just got to peek at what we have.
Yeah, I try not to go forward so that I look more of like a surprise.
I accidentally saw it.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Thursday's lunch. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, good.
You can't screw. It's hard to screw up.
It's like a little bit of a tease.
But no, Thursday's going to be really good for the lunch. Even Joe's not going to be able to hate on Thursday's lunch.
That might be hard. He hates on a lot.
Well, I know he does hate on a lot, but there's almost no chance. And fish is not banned here in TTV Disco 22. It's just that we've been getting this blackened tilapia once a week for the last month.
I don't want to look forward in case it's on.
I don't necessarily want to see that one again. There were a couple of small cappers that we didn't necessarily get to, and then at least one of them. Well, I was going to say, because a lot of people have been putting that one in there. It did just break the high. I wanted to say it is breaking the high, but, you come back to it a couple minutes later and it's no longer breaking the high of the day. 220%. There's 133 million in volume. Like the volume that you want Opendoor to be doing, this stock is absolutely doing. I know Sharif will be on that. But speaking of Opendoor, it did not get to $5. Already pulling back. Didn't quite get to that same. Didn't even get to Friday's highs, and already pulling back into the volume weighted average prices, Opendoor. But it's SMCI that I'm looking for next. It's bouncing off the lows, looking to short this one if it gets into the volume weighted average price in here again.
Come on,
and I
Tesla.
don't mind jumping back over to Amazon. I like the trend down in Amazon. I think the next step would be maybe a bounce into VWAP, or maybe we just take that 225 one more time. So shout out to everyone on that HWH. I know Sharif he sounds like he's on that stock. And
sounds like he's on something else over there.
So you should be all over it. Someone just said that, I like this.
It might be a very interesting midday show. I don't know if there's something in the coffee today.
Check this. Tilapia tacos are good. A little cilantro, onion, and some sriracha aioli. What do you mean block them? That sounds delicious. That sounds good, Joe. Block. First of all, Joe just yelled out block them for even suggesting tilapia as in a decent recipe.
Look, everything's fine. It's just a matter of the way
Sounds
it's cooked,
good,
right? I mean, you got to cook things properly and all that kind of stuff. Right?
I love tacos. Are great.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. Right now, we got Tesla bouncing off 330 as well. All right, it's 11 o'clock, so we're out of here. So thank you so much for staying with us right here. Make sure that you guys do watch the midday show for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun over there. And then Neil and I are back. All right, good show. We're back at 2 o'clock. So join us then. It's 11 right now. It's Adara. It's Joe. It's Sharif. It's the midday. Bye, Fabian.
What's up, Fabian?
Ciao for now.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people.